umpires almost ready to get underway. Kevin Chambers, Michael Avon and Gary Wild, three very experienced umpires for our game of the day, and I suppose that really Michael Avon, last year's grand final umpire. The game underway, your commentator will take up the call, Ken Sheldon.
The Central District Bulldogs won the toss, playing away at the Glenelg Oval, kicking left to screen. Up they go, Wayne Thornborough with a good tap down forward. Only as far as the Bulldogs, it's Cook who emerges with a footy. Good handball, and it's taken further to the half-forward flank for the Bulldogs. Running in the pursuit of the football is Paul Rouvet, back from Sydney. And he puts the ball only as far, looking for the safety of the boundary, but there ever, as always, is Scott Lee, number 12 for the Bulldogs. Puts it up forward with a kick, which will see eventually the ball roll over the boundary line ahead of Alastair Burke, number 9 for the Tigers, who is playing in the midfield. The matchups in the midfield will be terrific, and I think they will be vital to the outcome of this football game. Throw-in takes place. Thornborough perhaps unsuccessful there in winning the tap, but it is Glenelg who clear from the half-back flank to the outer wing. Well tackled, well held up there by both players, and the umpire comes into ball up again.
Ken, you've got to admit, conditions just terrific for the opening of the season. Slightly overcast, light breeze, real test for Glenelg today.
Well, it really is the time of the year when you've done all that pre-season and you're really all geared up. The energy that will be shown and released by these players will be something special to see, and the conditions, as you say, are really conducive to that.
You see Glenelg going forward here. They're taking it up. Good ball from behind. Central District's players, they're coming forward again. Glenelg trying to work it out. Not terribly slick at the moment, but it is the early quarter.
Mark Visca with the ball, hands it off. Now this is where Glenelg had fallen down last year. Josh Pearce just lazily on the leg pushed it in, and the tater, Scotty Lee, picks it off. Timmy Cook, centre half back. A nice long kick through the half forward. Lewis comes out, sets himself, wearing a new jumper by the way, number 13. This is Wakeland, star for them last year. High ball through the midfield. Nobody can gather it in. This is Brooks, the former Sturt player. Through half forward, it's a long ball, a runner's ball. Justin Scripps sets out after it. Arnold, the big ruckman, takes him on too. Did pretty well, didn't he? The big fellow. This is Raiders back from Richmond, across the line and out of play.
That was a terrific kick by Brooks. It really did cover some ground, and it allowed the speed of Scripps to run onto it against the big lumbering Arnold.
So in the forward pocket for the Glenelg Football Club. One really got an advantage with that tap at all. And again, we see the umpire coming in, and he'll ball it up. Nearly on the 15-metre line.
Ken, I've got to ask you, Central's lost their second loss in the grand final of the Port. Psychologically, what impact will that have this year? Will it spur them on, or do you think some of these guys might just drop their bundle?
Why not follow the leader, David, and just become more determined? Like we all have our lean times. Let's say at least they've been there for 2 grand finals.
See the kick just coming in there from Tudor. That's his first touch for the afternoon. We'll see a rush point. That brings up the first score for this afternoon. That takes Glenelg on to 1 point. Central's yet to score.
And something which I'm sure all of us, we're all pretty envious of, to play in grand finals. Premierships is ultimately what you're about, but I think Stevie Wright's doing the right thing, just adjusting a little bit, and hopefully 3rd year in a row we'll see the Central District side play off, and this year perhaps win it.
Underneath that ball was Matthew Jones, one of the new recruits. This is a good little player too. Joshy Pearce chips it in short. This time it's worked, and it's been claimed by Ricky Hall.
And that's good to see, Josh Pearce, number 34, head over the ball, his second disposal in a matter of minutes, and that one was okay, good enough to be scooped in with the one hand by Ricky Hall.
25-year-old, came from Shepparton and only played 3 games last year, kicked 3 goals, he knew how to kick them. The ball came around late, but just not quite enough. Through for a behind, so 3.5 minutes in, Glenelg got 2 points, Central yet to score.
And already you can see the Glenelg side, their pace is something special.
See the evergreen Scott Lee kicking out from fullback this afternoon. He drives it right down the middle of the ground, looking for the big fella he has. He's taken it, and that's Conway.
Looks pretty fit, doesn't he?
Conway gives it off. This is Cook. Drives it long and strong with his left leg. Goes up towards centre half forward. Good spoil from behind. The Central District's players got opportunity here through Saywell. It's nearly a throw should have been given there. The umpire didn't miss it. It's plenty of possession. Plenty. Back to Cook again. He throws it around his body. This is Stevens. He takes on the Glenelg player. Couldn't quite get it out. Strong tackling by the Glenelg side. They've come out pretty fierce and pretty determined this afternoon.
And it was Herrera who featured up in that play. Playing a centre-half back, Herrera, you will see him attacking many, many times for the Central District side. Number 19 for the Bulldogs, he runs very deep into attack.
He runs pretty straight too, Ken, doesn't he? Work by Thornborough brings the ball to ground. Kretschmer feeds it off. Lee Tudor, first possession for him. Just Grubbers one forward over the top of it. Second possession. Thanks for that, fellas. Raiders Tudor threw it out. Oh, Scripsy, well done, son. Evaded the tackle beautifully. Girdham came in late to smother. Couldn't quite get there. Kretschmer and Daniel go at it. Kretschmer's got a bit more pace than people gave him credit for. Bursting through and doing it pretty well there was Ricky Hall. He's prominent early. Thump down Arnold, doing the roving work if you don't mind. Now to Tim Cook, measures the kick, pushes it out in front. Underneath that one, Flood was interfered with. Yes, said the umpire, it's a free. And the advantage allowed to players Saywell into the open goal and gets the first for the 1997 season. James Saywell takes that honour.
And that's the advantage of having a focal point at full forward. David Flood, named at centre-half forward, has taken up position in the key full forward position and really could have been given that free kick, would have kicked the goal. He is a percentage player, but Saywell, running off the wing, was there to the front and square of that pack and was able to just clean it up very, very well.
So back into the centre of the ground. You see the umpire just signalling that goal. That brings up Saywell's first goal for the afternoon in Central Districts 1. They lead by 4 points. Back in the middle, Big Thornborough gets it down to Chigwin. He is clashed heavily by two Central's players. It's given quickly back to Thornborough. He throws it up in the air. Sitting at the back again is Ray. He knocks to the forward. Down it comes again. This is Wakeland. Gives it across the top. Wasn't a very direct handball. Over Tudor for his third possession. He stacks it around his body. I think he's brought up Glenelg's first goal for the afternoon. He has. They take Glenelg on to 1-2. They lead Central's just a solitary goal.
And it was a poor left-handed handball out of defence by the Bulldogs, and it was cleaned up by Tudor. He has been a fine player. He's played a lot of games for North Melbourne and Geelong in the AFL, come across here this year and really can play the game.
Worthwhile recruit, Ken at 27 years of age.
Look, I think he'll be a fine player for the Tigers for a number of years. He's a fairly good class of bloke too. A very good class of bloke, actually.
Glenelg match it blow for blow with last year's grand finalists. They lead by 2 points, 6.5 minutes in to the 97 season. Thornborough from the left. Gathers it in, brings it to ground. Stolen by McGowan. Wasn't he a star last year? Opened pretty well today also. Rouvray back, great commitment. Over the top of the ball. Feeds it out wide. Thompson was the target. Thompson was shepherding. It allows now the opportunity for Danny Holland to come through. Gets it away. Cotton taken high. Look for the free kick. Gets it too, by the way. He was one of their consistent goal scorers last year. I think just a little over 40 goals for the year. Not bad off a half-forward flank.
An awkward left-foot kicking style, but he is very effective.
Call him Jerry. I suppose he looks a little like Jerry Lewis. Oh, big fly from behind was Lewis. Comes to ground.
You could say Jerry can play.
Yeah, Jerry can play. No doubt about that. Holm off the ground. Tudor working deep in defence, so he's showing some real attitude out there. Scripps keeps it in front of him. Juggles it. Pulled off the ball. Play on, said the umpire. Opportunity for Girdham. Back into the centre. McGowan plays on quickly, chips it inboard, and look at the looseness here. It's Saywell. He's already got one.
But clearly a free kick missed there. I think Scripps should have been given the free kick, pulled off the ball.
Well, the umpires are told not to pay those soft ones, Ken. We don't want to see a lot of soft free kicks, do we?
I'm not sure that was soft, and it's right in front of the Glenelg membership stand as well.
All right, Saywell from 45. Leans back on the kick, but it looks pretty good. It's coming around. The goal umpire likes it. That's his second.
Very, very good player, number 29, James Saywell for the Central District Bulldogs. Has a lot of pace. He's really not a lot of physical presence about him, but he really can play and keeps running. Has a very, very big heart.
Saywell's second goal for this afternoon. 2 straight kicks, 2 goals. So Central's now, they're back in front. They're 2 goals. They lead Glenelg 1-2. Back in the middle. Thornborough again tries to get his body over the ball. He gets his hand to it. Quick hands must be given it here. Cook gets it forward again to that player and Saywell. He sets it up for Flood. Flood comes out in front. Just manhandled a little bit. Goes back on it again. Quick kick out. Up goes Chigwin. Gave centimetres. It's Saywell again. He gets another possession. This is Lockwood. He's run his left leg only to find the Glenelg back line.
Oh, and Lockwood looks pretty good. Rouvray is a renowned runner. Dogged by injury in his short stint with the Sydney Swans. Kretschmer, who has plenty of courage, this boy. And this is Adrian Rowett, back after a year at Victor Harbour, into Raiders, back from Richmond to Thornborough, back from St Kilda and Richmond. So Glenelg reclaiming some of their own as Arnold feeds back to the big fellow in Conway. Out wide it goes. This is Daniel. Played pretty well last year, impressed some good judges. Very athletic. Covers plenty of ground to McGowan. Absolute star, this fellow. in the prime of his career. Always amongst the medals when it's counted at the end of the year. Hasn't won one yet, but I might suspect that if he has a good year this year, might be just his. This is Stevens. Was disappointed with his grand final last year, but generally he had a fine season. Herrera just beautifully got the run of the ball. Now comes back in on the right, lines them up, goes long towards goal, but the kick won't make the distance. And drifting back underneath it is Thornborough to mark.
Wayne Thornborough playing a kick behind the play as a ruckman. Very accomplished player as he is too.
Centrals go forward again. They've got plenty of players around the football at the moment. Plenty of strong body work being shown by both sides. This is Alistair Burke. Just takes one bounce, very casual about it. It's onto his left leg. He's looking for Kretschmer. A little bit too casual, maybe, Ken.
Yeah, there's a lot of energy being shown by players at this time of the year particularly, and look, these players have been cooped up and they want to release all they've got here today.
It comes back to Conway. He gets the ball moving again. This is like Saywell. Must have had about his 10th possession by now. He puts it out in front. Right on the 15-metre we see Flood. And I reckon he might just be able to make the distance.
He is a very accurate kick as well as a long kick, but already the system of the Central District Bulldogs is very evident.
Cotton over the top of it. Sorry, you Mark. Back towards the point of the square. It was the right place for it. Burke throws it out wide. This is where Glenelg have perhaps improved already. I've seen them in the trial games, just moving the ball out of defence. They've been much more efficient in that area. Thompson, their best and fairest winner last year, at playing at centre-half back, and is a pretty fair player. This time Ricky Hall can't keep it in.
And what a magnificent right-hand punch it was, Spoil. Behind Bartlett as they run to the ball, the drop of the ball, but the fist was there, and some 30 metres back it went in their direction.
So 11.5 minutes, sorry, into the quarter. Score 2 goals to Centrals. They lead Glenelg. Just 1 goal, 2. So 4 points difference.
And already evidence in the game, I think, is the pace of Glenelg versus the system of the Bulldogs, the discipline of the Bulldogs.
It's a strong bounce by the umpire. Thornborough just shows his strength. A couple of seasons over in the AFL. It's just built him up a little bit. That's what Glenelg needs, somewhere strong. Stevens throws on his left boot. Hasn't gone where he wants to. Lockwood again flies high, but a good mark taken. It looks like Rouvray. Bit of experience there. He's had a troubled career as Paul Rouvray, with a couple of broken legs. Stint with Adelaide Crows and stint up north in Sydney. So we're going to learn a lot over there. Bartlett from behind, goes for the big leg, the foot in the middle of the back. Couldn't quite take it. Conway's in there again. Stevens throws his weight, and Kretschmer just runs the ball out over the line.
Yeah, good duel out there on that outer wing. Scotty Stevens is renowned, the left-footed, bald-headed wingman from the Bulldogs. He is a very, very good player.
You think he was good enough to be picked up by an AFL club, Ken?
Well, I guess it's one of those things that we're never, ever going to know now. Perhaps time has passed him by, but there's no doubt that he is a very, very good player at this level.
Just looking at him, he's just turned 26, so I think your comment's a fair one. But did show some flashes of brilliance, no doubt about that. Thornborough, number 6 in ruck, has taken all before him. Ray just flicks one out cleverly. Brooks over the top of it, pulled off the ball. Kretschmer comes back inboard, looking for Rowett. Missed the target there. Off the ground was Matthew Jones, new recruit for the Bulldogs. Keep an eye on him. 30 is Ridgway. Played a couple last year. Came up from the southeast, didn't he? Played, what, 2 or 3 games late in the year and had a bit of a look at him. Seems to be a tough sort of character.
It's a good initiation for him too on Cook, who is a very, very accomplished player. Number 6 for the Bulldogs.
Again, the ball goes down. It's going up forward. Chigwidden from behind gets a little bit of a nudge in the back. They're out there again. No play wants to get down and get their hands dirty. It comes up. Central side clears it. Looking for Scott Lee. Just couldn't quite make it.
Terrific anticipation there by Brooks, number 22. He knew that was coming wide and he just left his opponent and ran in anticipation of that football.
So again, Chigwidden down early again. He gets his hands down there. Tudor's amongst it, but a good mark will be paid. The umpire does, yes he does. He does blow his whistle. This is Matty Jones. What do you reckon, Ken? I reckon it might have just touched the ground.
We had good vision of it from here, but again, the umpire is always right, as we know.
Have a look at this fella. Doesn't he look like an athlete, Bowen Lockwood?
Certainly has some good attributes about him and has featured very early in the game as well.
Centrals again are driving forward. They're trying to set up at the moment. They're giving plenty of handball. Plenty of players are running past. This is Lee, who's come from full back. He's pounced upon by 3 Glenelg players. And down the boundary. We got our roving reporter there for the whole season, Robbie Popplestone.
Thanks, Dave. Look, I don't know what it looks like from the grandstand, but let me tell you, down here at ground level, it's fairly fierce. Just behind play, Lee Tudor's getting some rough stuff just to quieten him down, and James Sowell in the centre. Won't be long before a Glenelg player needs to pick up and cut his influence out on this game.
Actually, fancy Rob Popplestone talking about a bit of rough play behind the play. Crikey, he was the master of it. The Zen master, Rob Popplestone. Him and Carl Delina always gave you a couple in the ribs when they played with Sturt, that's for sure. This is Holm sneaking through, feathers it out wide. Stevens just a fingertip, but not called. Play on, said the umpire, and around on the left he swings it, but it's just wide of the mark, through for 1 point. So Central get their first point. They're 2-1, Glenelg 1-2. So scoring shots are even, fellas. It's been a pretty level match.
And that perhaps is one of the reasons why number 15 has not ever featured on AFL lists. Perhaps, I suppose to describe it, just a little rough around the edges for the next level, but gee, you can't argue with his commitment and his capacity to compete. He really is, and I would say, one of the real favourites at Central District.
So both full backs are deciding to go right down the middle of the ground. Rouvray was in that contest, couldn't quite take it. McGowan's in there also for the Central's club. He gives everything every week in every season. As I mentioned before, as you mentioned before, David, he really does poll well on McGarry medal votes. The umpires do like that style of play.
Arnold, high above the pack. Thompson, last year's best and fairest, just feathers off a handball route, crashes through. Did pretty well, kept his head down, good commitment. This is Raiders, Grubbers one wide. Rouvray just sits out on it nicely, will evade the tackle from Lockwood, bends it around the corner, keeps it towards the boundary. Safety first was the idea. Scripps just can't quite control it, and out of play it goes.
The Tigers are matched up with good pace versus the taller Central District Bulldog defenders, and they are therefore forcing the ball, I think, too wide at this stage of the game. They're not going through the corridor anywhere near enough.
Saw good work there by Arnold. Got his body in front of Thornborough, got his hand on the football, which was great to see. To say, well, he's already had 6-7 possession. That's his 8th possession for this afternoon. Ball's put up high. Thornborough couldn't take it. Quick hands given by the Glenelg side. They should be able to clear it through here. This is Raiders, gives it back again. He'll be dribbling up towards half forward. Leash at the back there, just brings the ball to the ground. This should go out of bounds. Uses his body. As we see the ball just run out of bounds, just inside the 15-metre line for the Glenelg club.
Ken, I just asked you to keep an eye on the Glenelg forward line. I just think their structure's a bit of a problem. You know, the way that, particularly the way the ball comes in, and their little men are right under the feet of the big men, and they've just got to work on that, I suspect. Kretschmer couldn't take it. Saywell does. Isn't he having a good game? Game and a half for him. Good shepherd off the ball by Jones, allowed Wakeland to clear through. Short ball picked up beautifully by Holm. He's stamping himself as a player. Towards half forward, the kick was long and low on the left. Flood fights hard for it over the top of it. Nicholas in pursuit of him. Cotton off the ground, handballs forward. Look at this. Lockwood will run into the open goal, easy as you like. Bang, first goal in South Australia for him. Welcome, son. Former Geelong Falcon under 18 player. They call him Bowser. That's his nickname, and he looks just magnificent.
Well, he looks to have plenty of balance, plenty of class. You can see, even though he's in the goal square when he does release this football, but you can see his head over the ball, he's balanced, he lands on his kicking foot. He looks something special, no doubt. Sets himself up, doesn't panic, and just goes bang.
So Lockwood, that's his first goal for the afternoon. Central's moved to 3 goals, 1. They're 19 points. Glenelg 1 goal, 2, 8. 11-point lead. It's around about the 20-minute mark of this first quarter. Chick Whitten hasn't been prominent early. Every time he gets near the football, he seems to be under a fair bit of pressure.
Well, he's only had a couple of handballs. He hasn't really got into it yet.
So again, the umpire puts the ball down. Thornborough gets his hand and footy. Glenelg player taken a little high.
No, he ducked. You can't pay those. Alistair Burke just ducked into the tackle on that. You just can't give those away.
This is Brooks. Again on his left leg, goes wide. At the back was Gowan. He couldn't quite take it. The Raiders there. He'll clean it up. He'll head towards the boundary line. Got Stevens out there. He's made a bit of ground to get to it. Back to McGowan. He gives it over the top to Saywell for another possession. He just throws it out in front of him. Couldn't quite get a good kick out of it.
What do you do to stop
Stevens puts the ball out over the boundary line?
What do you do to stop Saywell, Ken? He is dominating this game.
We're certainly going to have to put someone on him. Perhaps it's Burke, who is running with McGowan at the moment. He's also being influential. Perhaps you put Burke on just to blanket him.
He's covering so much ground at the moment, Ken. You just see him in the forward pocket and you see him on the half-back flank. We just see there, he's really working both wings and working it very well.
He's a very, very athletic player, a developing player. his infancy of his career, and it really looks to be something ahead of him.
Yeah, I think fair judge there. I don't think we're too brave nominating that, by the way. A few other people agree with you. That's a throw, wasn't it? Kretschmer? It was a good one. Out the back door, they picked out a free behind play, I suspect. Yeah, there is. This is little Joshy Pearce. Now, tell us about him, fellas. He's 16. He's an All-Australian under 17, and he's playing in the centre on debut. I don't know there's many players who are able to do that, as Conway marks beautifully.
It's just great to see players like that. The age of 16, it's young.
Well, I think
he's got a good size about him, hasn't he? He just looks like he's very balanced. He's got a bit of skills as well. We see the crowd here this afternoon. Now, people were concerned, David and Ken, about the numbers that were going to be here today. We've got Port Power playing their first game. But just looking out around the crowd here, we've had to be, I reckon, around about 2,000 people.
Well, I think it might even be a bit better than that. Chigwinnon, third handball for him, feeds it back. This is Rowett. Grubbers one towards Pearce. He just got beaten by the bounce, unfortunately for him. Bartlett swings it around, nicely balanced, lobs it into Ottens. Ottens marks right on the chest. And no, it's a goal. So the goal's been paid, and Bartlett gets it. A long bomb from 50 on the turn. It was just magnificent.
And that's an important goal for Bartlett. Playing on Big Conway, he's probably had his colours lowered at this stage of the game, but he will really need to feature for the Tigers to be something, well, to come out here winners today, I think. He really will need to fire at centre-half forward.
We've got two upgrades. The other games have been played here, North and Norwood. Norwood by 4 points. And Port Adelaide against Sturt. Port Adelaide Magpies against Sturt. Port lead by 8 points.
Loose ball, Harada controlling the centre-half back position at this early stage. McGowan, who is certainly controlling the middle. Through half forward he goes, lures the big target, had a little bit of a look. Now this fellow is just magnificent. Pace, balance, beautiful. What a great tackle. Well done, Benny Thompson. Just ran him down from behind. We were talking about how magnificent Lockwood was. Let's not forget the athleticism of Ben Thompson. He is just superb.
Well, Lockwood just took an extra step there, one too many, and it was tremendous, I guess, pressure by the Glenelg players.
The ball's kicked back in again. We've got Rouvray in the middle of the pack. It's brought down the ground. This is Cook. Goes around his body with his left boot. Puts it up forward. Central's players have got the numbers again. McGowan gives it up over the top. He couldn't quite take it. That player, Jared Cotton.
It was the McGowan handball, mate. It was just too high. And he's disappointed himself, Ricky, because he prides himself on his handball.
He kicked it, couldn't he? I mean, he was on his left-hand side. He could have just snuck it through.
Always high in the possessions is Ricky McGowan, so no doubt he'll make amends for that as the game.
Great mark taken out of the wing by the Glenelg player. That's Bradley Ottens, only 17. Talking about young kids, we talked about Pearce before. Young Bradley Ottens, David, 17 years old.
I watched him in a trial and he's got a leap. He takes off like a rocket. He's got a good pair of hands. He's roaring green, but by goodness, he's got some talent. And he will be a star.
There's Thornborough, just missed a mark. He was out in front, a good lead by the big fella. Bartlett again will throw his weight around, grabs the big players and throws them to the ground. He's in there again, it's Bartlett. It's just good to see big fellas like that are big and mobile. We've got Bartlett out there, they've got Ottens out there also, they've got Thornborough. He's pretty big and mobile as well. So Glenelg, as far as the big men department, Ken, they really are set up for a good season.
And we've seen two unfortunate handballs, one by McGowan, which was slightly off target, and that one by Josh Pearce, slightly off target for the Tigers. Both, had they been effective, would have resulted in goals for their respective teams. Handball at this stage is something which, well, needs to be spot on in these conditions.
Ball's down again. Thornborough will go for it. The young kid in Pearce, he got his hands to the football. Coming across, number 11 is Tudor. He's had plenty of football, uses a bit of class there, gets on his right leg. Should have really hit his target. And Bartlett, they gave him a good lead. Just need to balance a bit of Tudor. He bumps up again, realised he made the mistake, gives a handball back to big Thornborough. He throws it on the boot, puts it high into the air. What's Lee going to do? He takes it right in the last line of defence. And
already the Tigers side are looking better. Bartlett's gone to full forward, along with Thornborough at centre-half forward, and the youngster Ottens has come out of full forward into the ruck. So they've shifted their big men around, and I think it's starting to pay dividends already.
The big fella in Conway drives it forward, looking for Cotton. Rouvray again, brings it around and goes for the safety there. That was Visca, the Crows player Visca. Very similar size to what Rouvray is. Both players have played plenty of SANFL football. Ball's thrown in. Right in front of the grandstand. From behind was Ottens. Rouvray again. Around his body, puts it up. The Central's played on a fair bit of pressure, and that's Wakeland. Wakeland goes back. Looks forward. Drives it down the line. Plenty of Glenelg players. One should take it here. What's the umpire going to give? The free kick to the Glenelg player. It looks like Rouvray takes another possession. He gives it off quickly to Thompson. Thompson drives on his left leg, goes wide. Scott Stevens is under this. Should take it. He doesn't. Again, we see Conway dummies the handball and drives on his left leg. He puts it high. Doesn't really give his forwards much option. Over the back again. That looked like it was Thompson. A free kick should be received here by Visca. Visca goes wide. Young player, young Glenelg player in Pearce again, goes to the boundary line, and we see the ball run out.
So Glenelg have restructured their forward line. Thornborough's gone to full forward, Bartlett to centre half forward, and young Luke Ottens is in the ruck. That'll be a good experience for him. It also, I think, makes and strengthens the Tigers' full forward line.
Out wide again. Glenelg players really are putting a lot of pressure on this former or last year's grand final. To see Lockwood, we've called a number of times so far early in this game. It's another kick, strays it across the face of goal.
Very opportunistic, isn't he, out there on the half-forward flank. Glenelg 3 goals. Central are 3 goals 3, and Glenelg 2 goals 2.
So 7-point margin. You see Lockwood in the screen. Had an opportunity now to kick about 3 goals. So the ball driven in. Rouvray again getting another possession. Good strong mark under a fair bit of pressure. And Holes, we've got a player out wide. This is Ottens. The big fella's run down the wing hard. Looks for Raiders, gives it across to him. Raiders balances himself beautifully, drives it up to the big fella in Thornborough. He dives forward. The umpire's not taking any of that, and Hicks takes a good mark from behind. So Hicks drives it down the wing. Out comes Ottens again. Could have nearly have taken that. Tudor comes in, just knocks the ball towards the boundary line, and out it goes.
I think this is a good move by coach Wayne Stringer of Glenelg to put Ottens in the ruck. He's clearly starved there at full forward early in the game, and this will just give him a bit of confidence. Only a youngster as Ottens, give him a bit of confidence just to touch the leather and get into the physical side of the game.
There's not much of him. He's only 17, as we said. He's got a few years to go until he does develop. We see Raiders gives him a late tackle to the Centrals players. This will get a few of the Centrals boys a little bit fire up. You see the ball running from everywhere. Haven't seen one punch thrown yet. I don't think there will be one with the umpires standing around. Plenty of nubs. And we see the quarter-time siren go there. Centrals got a 7-point lead. They're 3 goals 3-21. Glenelg 2 goals 2-14. Ball's down the middle again. See the big fella and Arnold. He gets his hands to it, gives it back. Centrals again, going to put plenty of pressure. Great courage shown by Rouvray. He's had a lead possession that first quarter, Ken. He really has set an example to the younger players with this Glenelg side.
Early in the first quarter, he really showed great commitment to go back in to grab a blind football, running against the flight of the footy, and there we've seen it exemplified again. Like tremendous courage by Paul Rouvray.
Rouvray. Great courage, as I said before, shown. Ball comes down quickly. This is Thompson, throws it onto his boot, couldn't quite keep control of it. He's put it out on the full. Perfect conditions for football this afternoon. The Oval, it's been used for cricket over the summer. It is just like a bowling green at the moment, isn't it, Ken?
Makes you really want to put the boots on, Marcus.
Ball again, driven back in from the game. We see Ottens. Been pretty busy so far this game. This is Thompson. Back over to Rowlett. Another one of the younger brigade for the Glenelg side. Lee. Talking about young players. Scotty Lee, 33 years old. Fantastic grand final game last year. Unfortunately, the Central side lost it. This is Lockwood, who we've called a few times this afternoon. Really has shown a bit. He's out to impress. He's one of the power boys. I'm sure he will be trying his hardest today to crack into that side next week.
And you've seen that kick there, just hurrying himself a little bit, like we've seen a bit of that early in the first quarter, particularly with handball, just rocketing him out with a little bit much velocity. They'll settle down the players, and this game will evolve into a crackerjack game.
And it already is that. Lockwood, handballs away. In space it goes Girdham, couldn't quite gather in neither, good Ridgway. Now it comes back to Brad Ottens. He flicks it out the back door. They go forward, little Pearce crashes through, tries to get it out, does so successfully. Now it ends up with Raiders, who goes around the corner, and Thornborough doesn't drop that one right on the chest, made sure of it.
Can present himself as a key focal point. Wayne Thornborough has kicked a number of multiple goals in multiple games.
Well, he's had 2 stints in Melbourne. He's had one with St Kilda in your time and one with Richmond. Why didn't he make the grade?
Well, I think perhaps Wayne Stringer described it properly. Just a little loose in the hands, a little soft, like he is a very tall player, and perhaps needs to take some more grabs. But it's something that I know he's working on very hard, and he is only a youngster still.
Well, he's 24 now, surely big men. He's right in the prime of his career.
I agree. 24, 25, 26 is about peak time for the big fellas to develop. Also, he has had some problems with knee injuries.
Well, the all good game. That's through Tudor. He just blasts the ball forward off the ground, puts it high to Thornborough again. He gets underneath it. He paid the free kick. The umpire just signals he'll throw it in. And again, we've got other games going around the state this afternoon. As we can see, North-Nord game, David. Nord by 11 points.
Well, Norwood knocked them off by plenty in a trial game. It was embarrassing, but they're not always a true guide of form, are they? Another match is Port by 9 points over Sturt, and they were close at half-time in their trial, but Port ended up walloping them as well.
That's Stevens, puts the ball forward. Rouvray again dives forward, trying to kick the ball in. Just did enough to keep it there. This biscuit goes back on it. Lockwood's in there as well. Saywell had a fantastic first quarter. Dives on the top of the football and keeps the ball in the air, and that's what the coaches want to see. Stevie Wright should be seeing the runner across to him just to acknowledge the effort by his players, and Lockwood and also Saywell there.
I believe Fremantle was sniffing around Visca in the off-season. They wanted his courage and his commitment. They reckon they've got enough runners, but they wanted just somebody, Ken, with a bit of hardness.
Well, he certainly has plenty of that.
Ball's cleared again from defence. Across the back.
Matty Jones.
Looks like Matty Jones it is. Puts the ball forward. Saywell again. He's had plenty of the football so far in this game. Puts the ball forward. Rouvray also has had plenty of the football. He just seems to be having it on the string at the moment. It's up to about his 13th, 14th possession. A bit of a push in the back there by the young Glenelg player. That's Ricky Hall. Gives it across. Alistair Burke puts it out wide. Thornborough can't quite get there. Pearce is there also. So Scotty Lee for Centrals. He was in the front and gets the free kick.
That's not bad, is it? The youngest player and the oldest player playing on each other.
And that's where Glenelg have to improve their disposal from centre wing across the midfield into their full forward line. It is just too high and too wide.
Lockwood floats one in, gave Cotton no opportunity. Flood just gives a bit of ground up to Stevens, who ducked under it. Now Cotton weaves this way. That did pretty well. Saywell in trouble. Caught. Throws it out the back door where Flood just floats one. He didn't look, did he?
Looked to have injured his leg too as he kicked it. Perhaps that's why he didn't have that shot from 55 out earlier in the first quarter.
Bradley Ottens, star of the future. Long ball, Harada just destroys it from behind. Loose ball falls to Girdham. Up it goes to Saywell. Saywell's having the game of his life. Through to full forward and again. This is Thompson, who's playing a pretty fair game on lures at centre half back. I like the style of this fellow. And underneath it, opportunity for Rouvray to Visca. A couple of quality AFL type players there. Rowett back from Victor. I think he might be glad he came home too, by the way. Through towards the full forward post, but underneath it, Big Conway, who was played as a full forward last year and this year gets a run, beg your pardon, at centre half back.
It's a good move too by coach Stevie Wright to develop Conway in the absence of Schaefer, who was drafted to Collingwood. I think it's something very much needed by the Bulldogs.
McGowan gives it over to Cook. Cook goes on his left leg, puts it down the line. The player in Saywell didn't realise it was coming to him, and Tudor just puts it out over.
And isn't this where it gets hard in these early games in the season? Magnificent conditions, you've done all your fitness work, but you really haven't played the matches. And we're into the second quarter, at 10 minutes in, say, 5-10 minutes in, and it really starts to grip into the middle of your belly now.
Okay, it looks like Cook brings it forward, looking for Flood. Flood seems to be moving all right now after his little bit of knock on his leg before. We say Ridgway for the first time this afternoon. Gets his first touch.
I think you're being a bit harsh on him. I think he's had a kick and a couple of handballs, Mark. Kicking 3 handballs. Lewis thumps it down. Girdham around the corner. High ball. Cotton needs to sit underneath. Oh, look at the ball. Came back beautifully. he just followed the ball, and you could see him heading in the right direction, while Ridgway and Rouvray headed in the wrong direction.
That's a tremendous exhibition of football there. The smash from Lure straight down to Girdham, the rover, straight to Cotton, the half-forward flanker, who had run hard to the fall of the ball in the goal square.
Jared gets his first. The Bulldogs are 4-3. Glenelg 2-3. We're about 7 minutes into the second term at Glenelg Oval.
And that is, again, I just repeat it, classic football. Like, it's just a training drill all over again. Absolute systematic, and that's what the Bulldogs are renowned for. They just keep at their system, percentage football.
It really was a good goal there by Conway.
Sorry, Mark. Cotton. Even the commentators are a bit rusty.
We are. We're back in the middle of the game. Central's 4 goals, 3-27. They lead Glenelg 2 goals, 3-15. That's Arnold, gets his hand to the football quite clearly. Chigwidden's been very quiet in this game. Just flicks the ball forward. It's over to Kretschmer. Kretschmer from outside of 50 drives it in, looking for Thornborough. Couldn't quite take control of the ball. Young Geister, Paul Geister, held his ground well.
I was also going to comment on Damien Hicks. He's very, very much improved player since being shifted to fullback, probably their starter last year. They lost a couple of players, did the Bulldogs, and he was really thrown to the wolves. But gee, what great character he has developed and improved to be a key player.
And I was thinking that exact same comment as that ball came in. McGowan flicks it out wide. Wakeland. They used the handball pretty well, Centrals, just to get out of trouble. The Cook kick was long and high. Loose ball now through the midfield. Stevens, will he swing back on the left? No, he turns on the right. Handballs off to McGowan, who has support from Saywell wider still. They've changed the direction of play in much a similar way as Port Adelaide do. And underneath this one, Girdham, the skipper. By the way, 31 today. Happy birthday, Rog.
Won the toss too.
Yeah, he's, all he needs to do is win the game, and everything's worked out well for him. Nicholas inside the boundary. On the left, was he out? Yes, he was, said the boundary umpire. The ball come back into play.
Good shot there of the crowd. You can see in front of the grandstand there's plenty of people here to witness this game this afternoon. Last year's grand finalists versus Glenelg, who finished 7th last year. But we're live at Glenelg Oval.
I might point out, Mark, we're live all year from 2 till 5. You'll get the match of the round live each weekend throughout South Australia and the Northern Territory and right into Asia. So stay with us, and we're expecting a bumper year with this high influx of AFL quality recruits and a lot of young kids knowing that this is the stairway to the AFL. Probably the best year, I'd suspect, Ken, for 5 or 6.
There's no doubt about that. That is a great passageway for young players, and they really have to show their stuff here at this competition if they want to get to the next level.
Rouvray clears it again. This is Scripps. It's been very good early, gives it back. This player is Nichols. Drives it forward. This is young Pearce, young 16-year-old, drives the ball forward. Thornborough comes out in front. Needs to give it across to Chigwidden. He does. Chiggy on his right leg. Blasted through. He brings up Glenelg's 3rd goal. They move on to 3 goals, 4. They trail Central's 4 goals, 3.
And you can see young Pearce there, a little unlucky not to get a free kick, but what great hands by Thornborough. Tremendous, taking the ball out in front of you, being able to flick the ball on an angle and then give it off with a left-handed handball, short and sharp, to Chigwidden running through for his 1st goal.
Norwood by 23 points, stepping away from North Adelaide now, and Sturt trailing Port by 14 points. Handball comes inboard, Rowett over the top of it, harassed by Cotton. Has quite good balance. Sends it right back down the corridor. Thornborough, big hands, big mark. Got it, the big man. And he'll kick for goal from 30 out directly in front.
It's a good win out of the middle by the Tigers. Very ferocious in there, and Thornborough set himself, used his body well to take the ball out to the left-hand side, giving his defender no opportunity to spoil.
They're 5 points down. The Tigers, a goal here gives them a point in front. Lead's changed 6 times. And Thornborough goes back, puts it through, and we've got Rob Popplestone down on the boundary. Poppy, what's happening down there?
Well, I didn't expect Thornborough to miss that one, or miss that mark too, after Stringer's instructions, of course, at quarter time. One quick change that we may have missed, of course, just for Glenelg. Josh Pearce just left the field and was replaced by Damien Gigney. Glenelg right in this game.
There's Good goal by Thornborough. We're back in the middle of the game. He's kicked 1 goal 1 so far, the big fella. Central's 4 goals 3. They trailed Glenelg, who are 4 goals 4, so a 1-point margin for Glenelg as the ball is bounced again. Arnold underneath it, gets his hands to the ball again. This is McGowan, goes back. Quick kick thrown on the boot. Put up high. Lures, couldn't quite take it. Rouvray going for about his 15th possession so far. We've only played 10 minutes into the second quarter. He really has been fantastic. Thornborough, the bloke who kicked the last goal for Glenelg, goes in there again. Hicks is there. Plenty of body showing. That was Gigney, who's just come on.
That looked good, a good move. Very tough and hard were Glenelg in that centre bounce contest, and they released it very quickly into their forward line.
So we're inside the 15-metre line. Thornborough. It's pretty handy to have a player that sort of size sitting at full forward at the moment, isn't it, Ken? You've got a bloke like Ottens at the moment who really is getting his hand to the ball around the ground and is pretty mobile, but to be able to have the luxury of putting the big Thornborough at full forward really has given Stringer something this afternoon.
It's probably worth commenting too that he is a locally born and bred boy. Like he is really very much the heart and soul, has the heart and soul of Glenelg Football Club right in him. So
well, I think that's true. They've got Thornborough back from Richmond St Kilda, Rouvray back from the Swans, Raiders back from Richmond. Sean Taxer comes across from North Adelaide and the Crows, but he hasn't played, or he's not ready with a calf injury.
But what a recruit.
Yeah, not a bad recruit. They've done pretty well in the off-season, haven't they?
So Thornborough being spoiled by the young fella in Ottens.
Good crowd here today. We might mention too that they have turned over 15 of last season's 41 players, the Tigers, so Wayne Stringer really has rung in some changes. We might cover just a few of those for you in a moment. We might get Ken Shelton just to walk us through those as Stevens gathers it out. Scotty Lee inboard to a Raider. Run down. Beautiful tackle. It was great work, wasn't it, by Scripps? Just run him down in the kick. Loose ball, and now it slips out.
Now, might be wrong here, David, but the player is in front, running like that, trying to break away, and the player takes him down. They should be holding the ball. He's had time to get rid of it.
I think the umpire indicated that he got his boot to the ball, but it didn't go anywhere. I think that's what the decision would have been there, and I think fair enough for the umpire. But had he not, I think you've got a fair point. Ken, just walk us through the...
probably the key players. Jim West has gone to Norwood. Dean Bailey has left the club, along with a few others such as Paul Hallahan. Chris McDermott played a number of games last year, coaching the North Adelaide.
What about Lucas Herbert? You saw him, the most outstanding junior at the club last year. He's gone. What sort of loss is he? I noticed he's playing centre-half forward for North Adelaide today.
Well, there's no doubt he's a developing player, but again, it's the likes of Ottens and Thornborough that will replace him.
Fair enough.
This is Hall kicking the ball forward. Chigwitten's starting to get a few touches in the second quarter. I think he needs to. So far in the game, he's had 4 kicks and 3 handballs, so 7 possessions.
Excuse me, Mark. I might just mention Jimmy West was their leading goal scorer last year with 37. Mark Tyler with 30, and Mark Soderstrom 13, and Ben Orlick 13 were their 4 leading goal scorers. They've lost all those 4 players.
But again, if someone like Thornborough, along with the likes of Bartlett, can fire up in the key forward positions, then their losses have been covered.
Tell you what it does show, they didn't kick many goals last year.
Well, and their position on the ladder reflected that. But
So we're just out, we're around about 30 metres out, 25 metres out. See the ball pushed down. Glenelg had an opportunity here to pick it up and to go forward again. Chigwitten just runs himself out of the boundary line, but kicks the ball in, puts it high into the air in the middle of the pack. Like the big fella in Ottens couldn't take it. Bartlett's working hard to grab it. That big player there was Gigney, who's just come on. Same sort of build as the big fella, hasn't he, in Ottens?
He has, and
very thin.
Took a big leap at it.
the Tigers have really lifted their rating. Little things like that, the smothers and the tackles, the bumps, and Central are under real pressure here at the moment.
Gurdon got clobbered after disposal. Free kick downfield, play on, said the umpire. As Cook feeds it out to Conway, spears it long. Out underneath that one and working hard for the ball was little Nathan Steinburner, who's just come on, and they reckon he's a real terrier. 34 for Central. And there he is. Have a look at him. Tough as nails. I reckon he'll be a terrific tagger. He's got plenty of pace and lots of courage. And not bad raps from the power where he's training. Bartlett claimed by Daniel. That's holding the ball. No worries about that. Take him on and you don't get out of it. It's all over.
Yeah, Bartlett in two minds there, trying to get around onto his preferred right foot, but what a fantastic tackle by Jack Daniels.
The Centrals go forward. Cotton at half forward. Been pretty lively. Spears it in. Scotty Lee sits underneath it. Got one for his corner too.
Now Scotty Lee has run from the back pocket. He has run 85 metres.
Picked up a 50.
That ball. He's got a 50 metres as well. So this is a certain goal for Centrals.
Now nobody will stand the mark here.
And under real pressure, the Bulldogs for the last 10 minutes, and one of their old and experienced players, or older and more experienced players, Scotty would prefer me to say, has led them through this little onslaught like Glenelg. Now the Bulldogs will respond and put them back in front.
I'm told they presented him a wheelchair in pre-season training. 33 years of age. Scotty Lee with a 25-metre penalty and just leans into it, bangs it through. Scotty gets his first. Back pocket players love that. And they're back in front. Centrals 5-3, Glenelg 4-4 on ABC Football.
You can see Cotton here, who was a good disposal to Cotton, and equally off the left leg, a fine kick executed to the running Lee. All the way down from the back pocket, as Mark Nayley called it, and that's really what the Bulldogs are looking for. Hereda, Hicks, Conway, who's playing a centre-half back, they all have a lot of run and a lot of system out of defence.
So Glenelg, 4 goals, 4-28. Centrals, 5 goals, 3-33. They're back in front by 5 points. The ball's put down. Big Gotton's had a fairly good run since coming onto the ball that midway through that first quarter. In there also getting hold of football is young Raiders. Still only 19. He's had a season at Richmond. Still got plenty of football to look forward to.
Why would you give away a kid 19 after 1 year? I mean, Richmond just have got to ask themselves the question. You've got to give a kid more than that, don't you?
Or perhaps on the outside you do, but again, unless you're in there looking and analysing with the Richmond Football Club, we're really never going to know. But
it is a numbers game these days, isn't it? We see Tudor pushing the ball forward. Glenelg need to respond. The ball's put high. It's out Stevens. He can run with it, but it sits nicely for him. It does. He gets up, gives it across. This is a big fella on Arnold. Just tries to get a little bit too fancy with it. Couldn't kick control. Kretschmer cleans it up, puts it wide. It looks like Tudor over Chigwidden. Starting at a couple of touches. He's taken down by Stevens. Glenelg still managed to keep control of the football. Puts it out wide. This is Bartlett.
That Scripps kick was a beauty, you know. Just measured it magnificently, didn't he?
And Bartlett, to me, looks to have trimmed down. He looks to be a lot fitter than perhaps he was last year. And again, we called it earlier, if he can position himself well at centre-half forward and keep presenting himself, I think it'd be good for the Tigers.
So Bartlett right on the 50-metre line. He kicks from, he puts it high in the air. Has he made a distance? I think he has. The Centrals players have got a hand to it, but is it inside or outside? Bartlett kicked his second goal for the afternoon, and he brings up Glenelg's 5th. So Glenelg bounced back.
And what a great goal it is. Like, he is a long way out. He sets himself, deliberately aims up from 55 metres and puts it right through the high diddle-diddle. That's a great goal for the Tigers, and one that will really give the confidence of Alan Bartlett a much-needed injection.
Seesawing match, 1 point the margin in favour of the Tigers. We're just 20 minutes in. Chigwidden bounces one out of the midfield. Sorry, Mark. Just missed something there. Scotty Stevens couldn't get through. Now it's Wakeland. Around the corner he goes. Chiggy just stood under it. He was like a statue. McGowan tried to get away. Chiggy makes amends. He just smothers the handball. Look at him, all arms and legs going to recover. Stevens couldn't get it out. Brad Ottens does. Nicely fed off to Visca, who runs from half back, spears it to Richie Hall, just over that player's head and finally out of play in front of Thornborough. And the intensity of this game really has lifted.
Nick Chigwidden, the captain of Glenelg, quiet in the first quarter, but has really responded in this second quarter, and one of the catalysts for the Glenelg being in front at the moment.
Sitting there on the Paul Geister, coming back onto the field. Simon Lures coming off. They're rotating their big men.
They need to at the moment. You've got Thornborough for Glenelg up forward, really kicked him in the game. This young lad just gave the handball there to Ottens. And what's happening here? The umpires found a free kick further down the field to Glenelg. Like Chigwidden with a little bit manhandle. He gets hold of the footy quickly. He wants to get it moving. He does. He puts it high. Thornborough again from behind. A free kick is given here. Looks like it's going the Central District's way.
Yeah, against Gigney for the early fly and the push in the back.
A number of big men in the pack jostling for position. Something's got to give.
So we see a change there. Number 15 coming off. That's Ricky Hall. He was standing Scotty Lee before he ran down and kicked that goal. And coming on for him Another young player in Trent Riley.
17.
Another 17-year-old. So Wayne Stringer really is showing some faith in his young brigade.
Joshy Pearce, 16. Adrian Rao at 17. And Brad Otten's only 17, the big fella. So 3 youngsters.
As Tudor lines up, really acute angle, just pushes it across the face of the goal and brings up another point. So far, Tudor's kicked 1 goal. That's his first point for the afternoon. His stats, not too bad. He's had 11 possessions.
And we're going down to the boundary line. Rob Popplestone, what have you got for us, Poppy?
Well, there's been some fairness instilled back into this Glenelg side. Wayne Stringer using his bench rather well, making sure that the 100% efforts be maintained all the way through until the end of this quarter. As you've seen, young Kimai has just come out of the side for Glenelg.
Okay.
I think that's a good point that Robbie makes too, the energy that the Tigers are expending towards their Bulldog opponents. Like, they just got to have good pace. If Central District lacks something, it is actually on-field pace, and they've just got to have it on a continuous basis, relentless basis. So it is good use of the interchange bench.
Kretschmer, 14 games last year. They really missed his influence, didn't they? He only kicked 4, an opportunity for his first in 97. He leans back on it and pushes it, I suspect, to the left just a fraction. It's a point back to defence for him, perhaps. He's ruck roving today and doing a pretty fair job. I like the way he plays the game. He's hard and mean. We're 23 minutes in. Glenelg leading by 3 points.
So Scotty Lee again will try to kick the ball. Passes the Glenelg fence, trying to find one of his players. This time he does. He finds McGowan. He gets back quickly, goes onto his left leg. Pushes it forward. This is Hicks. Which way will he go? He puts it high in the air. Not much height. Bartlett, who's come from centre half back, comes through and thumps the ball forward. Glenelg got the numbers here to be able to clear it. They do. They push it hard up forward. Mark taken out in front. Number 33, Glenelg and Gigner, who came on. Now what's happened here? The umpire has called something. Someone's holding on. It's gone right to about the 10-metre mark out from the square. Total confusion by the umpires. What are they going to call? I think they've signalled the goal. I don't even know who kicked it. Who kicked it, Ken?
It's bounced through. Number 33 has kicked it for the Tigers. It's bounced through, but actually played a free kick downfield to Ottens, but the ball hit the deck and actually an off break and went straight through for a goal. So good fortune there to the Tigers.
The players were confused, the umpires were confused, and the commentators sitting up here were also confused.
Damien Gigner was the player.
Very young, he's 20 years old. Glenelg have won the last 8 centre square bounces they have. This one they won't. See some good work done over the Cook. Cook brings it forward. The chance here for the smaller men to clean it up quickly. They don't. Pushed out wide. Hicks is in there. Which way will he go? He gives it back across. Conway puts it high. At the back is Cotton. Cotton used his strength. He couldn't quite take it. The young number Lockwood's in there. Quick step by Cook again. He couldn't get through it. Glenelg are putting extreme pressure on this Central District forward line. Good work done by the Glenelg back line.
Full marks to Mark Visky there. Magnificent smother right in the last line of defence.
And he hurt himself too. He's holding his wrist, holding his fingers, holding his hand. The players are going across to him just to snap him on the back. You see it. You're right there, Ken. Great smother.
And everyone in the arena very much appreciative of a great effort by Mark Visky.
This is Raiders. Tries to throw it on his boot. Girdham's in there as well. Thornborough's come back onto the football to give Ottens a bit of rest. Free kick there should have been there to Chick Whitten. The umpire's right on the mark. It's in a better position than what we are. We see players, still a little bit of feeling out there. The young 19-year-old in Raiders just throwing his weight around with just a few pushes. Just to let him know they can't do that to his captain. So in front of the members stand, the ball's put down. Good leap by the Centrals player over the top. Strong work in. Number 9 for is Alistair Burke. Number 2 is Raiders. I think Burke might receive the free kick. Just held on to a little bit too long after.
Yeah, the ball had clearly left possession of Burke, the Central District side. 2 of them, in fact, were still able to gang tackle, so the free kick given against them. Bartlett, what a focal point he has become since midway through the first quarter.
Good ball put out in front. It's a big fella. Now that's shown a great mark taken by Bradley Ottens out in front. The player right on his hammer. He put his chest out, pulled the ball in as hard as he possibly could into his chest and took it. Look at that, Ken. Good mark by the young fella.
A terrific mark, and I think it's worth commenting that Ottens lined up, started the game at full forward, but really was starved of opportunity. Wayne Stringer, the coach of Glenelg, I think made a good move and put his athleticism into the ruck. It created something, for them and give this boy some real confidence, as we've seen them. One opportunity, one clean grab.
14 metres out at a 45-degree angle. Shouldn't be that hard to kick. He just pushes a little bit right. Will it come back? It does, and it stays out there. And brings up another point to the Glenelg side. They move on to 6 goals, 7-43. And they lead Central's 5 goals, 3-33.
The commitment of the Tigers in this second quarter has been something, well, really good. Their energy, their commitment, the ability to play the 1%ers has been a real feature and has really put the Bulldogs under extreme pressure.
Sale gives it back to Lee. Lee comes around his body, pushes it wide. This is home. And the newer players inside gets pushed off the ball pretty strongly by Thornborough. Stevens in there also. He doesn't want to keep it in. And Thornborough, the big fella, just pals it out over. So big Wayne Thornborough started on the ruck, went to full forward for nearly a quarter. Just come back onto the ball. Gets his hand, a great tap back to Scripps. It gives it back to Kretschmer. Kretschmer drives at centre half forward. Bartlett's there. He takes a great mark at centre half forward. 40 metres out, directly in front.
Really is firing up, Alan Bartlett. Number 14 for the Tigers. Kicked a magnificent goal earlier in the quarter as he lines up here for his third.
So Bartlett, as Ken said, going for his third goal for the afternoon. Nearly half-time. He puts it at right, but he just holds it there beautifully. Brings up his third goal and brings up Glenelg's 7th. They move on to 7 goals, 7. They extend their lead to Central's 5 goals, 3.
And what a vital goal it is. Now, they're worth 2 in the time zones. Like, you get them late in the quarter and then early in the next. It really does make a big difference on the scoreboard. And what a great mark that from Bartlett. Like, one in front of him, one behind him, but using his athleticism and, I dare say, his lesser weight to full advantage.
So 1-8 update here from Norwood Oval, North and Norwood. Norwood just extending their lead also to 37 points. But here at Glenelg Oval, Glenelg extend theirs to 16 points. It's been a real good quarter for them. Number 26 and Arnold just gives the ball back. Central's got a chance here to go forward as we hear the half-time siren. We've got Glenelg by 16 points, but Ken, really has been a great second quarter, wasn't it?
Led by Chigwitten, Nick Chigwitten, a 23-point turnaround to the Tigers. Chigwitten was fantastic out of the midfield. Bartlett responded for him at centre-half forward, as did Thornborough and young Ottens. They're combining in the ruck and at full forward. It was those 4 players, I think, which were absolutely vital in the revival. But all over the ground, the Tigers, their ability to lay the tackle, chase, harass, smother, as we've seen a magnificent smother in the last line of defence by the Tigers, which saved a certain Jared Cotton goal. Just their work rate all over the ball, all over the ground, was far greater in that second quarter, and as I said, a 23-point turnaround for them.
Well, full score, full-time scores here at half-time from Glenelg Oval. Looking at Glenelg, 7 goals, 7-49. Central's a 5 goals, 3-33. And all the action is brought to you live here on ABC Sport. We see 16-point margin. Big Thornborough starts in the ruck for Glenelg at the start of this third quarter. Chigwitten staying the ball as well. Plenty of balls being thrown. And Fisker, Kretschmer comes busting through. Just held slightly. Umpire missed it. We see Stacks on the mill. There's players around. A great second quarter by Glenelg. Really got themselves back into the game, didn't they, David?
Well, kicked, 5 goals, 5 to 2 straight goals by Central. It was a 7-point deficit quarter time to a 16-point lead as Tudor comes out of the middle. Otten's underneath it. Gigney hands it off to Bartlett. Forced around on the left leg. Back to Hall. Oh, well, he went for goal, didn't he? And out of bounds on the full. We see Scotty Lee just waiting for the ball to come back into the ground. There's an update here between North and Norwood. Norwood just holding on to that 6-goal win at the moment. That's a half-time score. We see Port at half-time. They're leading by 19 points. That's Port Adelaide.
We've got to be careful this year, don't we? So the Port Magpies by 19, David, at half-time at Alberton Oval with Sturt. I expect big things from them this year. They must see an improvement. Chigwitten fights for the ball hard with Gurdon. Gurdon comes back and wants to get it back off him. Good contest by the 2 players. Ball's bounced again. Bit of hanging on by the two ruckmen. Ball swung around the body. This is Burke. Headed towards full forward. The back of the pack looks like Bartlett couldn't quite take him from over the back of Conway. The ball goes out again over the boundary line.
Ken Conway's looked pretty relaxed in that position at centre half back today.
Yes, he's been pretty good, but also Bartlett only had 4 kicks, but kicked 3 magnificent goals. So he really has been influential at centre half forward for the Tigers.
Yeah, comment Scotty Lee at the front, brings it to ground. Otten's off the ground, gets himself a point. He's on the board. Only 17, by the way, and you've got to just say he's got a leap on him. This is the younger brother of Luke Ottens, son of Dean, former state champion here in South Australia. Come down from the Northern Territory in the last year. They've really made an impact.
That's Burke around his left leg. Ball's taken very high. The umpire, what's he going to do? He's going to call play on. He does. Little player has a snap at the goal. I think it's just happened to be touched off the boot. Ricky Hall. And young Hall brings up his first score for the afternoon. It's only a point. Second point for the afternoon. It just helps Glenelg. Just keeps their league out now up to 17, 18 points. Again, we see Cook in there. Kicks the ball forward. Good, knocks it over the back. This is a Raider. Pushes it wide. Out comes hard. Looks like Conway. He's taken it.
That's Lewis.
That's Lewis. Kicks into the man on the mark. He bunts up again. Takes it, throws it on his boot this time. It's all Glenelg players there. Which one will take it? Kretschmer couldn't get near it. Visca gives it back across. Out wide is Thornborough. Thornborough will take a mark on the half-back flank.
He got it from Rouvray. A long ball now to Scripps, who's really 20 metres clear in the finish of Steinburn. And Steinburn made up great ground to get there. Just put enough pressure on to force the kick wide. And Conway marks at the true centre half-back position. On the left boot, he swings it. Out now to Arnold, the big ruckman, who's really battled almost one out today. Thornborough has done a good job. Thornborough sets himself. Thompson from behind spoils. Loose ball falls. McGowan, oh, just so clever. Chips it up. Beautiful. What balance, but just misses. Off to the right, gets himself a point. So Central's 5-4, Glenelg 7-9, and we're just 4 minutes into the third term.
McGowan had a big second quarter. Well, not a big second quarter, but a big first half of footy, having 16 possessions, Ken.
He is prolific, isn't he, with his possession-winning ability. And he would have been disappointed with that finish, but he'll be there all the way through. He can be guaranteed of that. Big heart and a great football ability has Ricky McGowan.
Steinberger gives it back over to Stevens. Ball's pushed down. Thornborough over to Visca. Visca gives it on to Chigwitten. It's over the top again. This is Raiders on the wing. Looks for give the handball. This time gets balanced. Just hang on to it a little bit too long, the Raiders. And then Central's players clean it up through Stevens. Stevens, awkward looking kick. Doesn't give his forward players much of a chance. That's Rouvray, who's played a fan. Has to be best on ground so far up to half time. This is Potter. He's come on for his first run for the afternoon. He'll throw himself into the pack again, which he does. We see the umpire come in to ball the ball up again.
And that's where that disposal into the forward line just has to be deadly accurate. Like Central District were outnumbered there 4-1. The kick of Stevens wasn't good enough, therefore congestion applies, and Glenelg are able to do what they want, tidy it up.
Ken, the forwards can't be leading to a pocket, can they? Blood rule used. Simon Nicholas off, correction. And Luke Otten's on for his first run. So the two Ottens brothers on, Luke and Brad. And, Luke is 20, Brad 17. A couple of young guns. As we recommence play. 17 points the margin in favour of the Tigers. Now, not too many people would have predicted that in betting. Glenelg were 15-10, almost unbackable. And Centrals were 4-9 red-hot favourites on to win this game. And it just shows you that football's a funny game.
Well, the brilliant pace and the ability just to compete and harass by the Glenelg side, plus the focal point of Bartlett, a centre-half forward, has been the difference. But to me, the Central District side looks a little long-legged, a little slow across half-back. And of course their disposal into their forward line is not good enough, not being aided now by the fact that I think David Flood has not returned since half-time. Potter has come onto the half-forward flank and Lewis is back at full forward. So one of their key players off the ground, so very difficult task ahead for the Central District Bulldogs.
Ball's put down on the Central's forward line. Glenelg players around. They're trying to get a lot of pressure on. That's Visca from behind. And there's Rouvray again. He throws the ball out, but taken high and should receive the free kick.
Worked hard for the free, didn't he?
Oh, he's worked hard all day, David. So Rouvray. Really on the last line of defence, looking both ways, looking right, looking left, just seeing what sort of options he has got. It's a movement from Bartlett, who's run down from centre half forward. He's the target, he goes for it. Bartlett will contest. With him there also is young Thompson. He flies high but couldn't take it. And again we see a ball up.
Real athlete Thompson, high flyer. He's playing this year without the headgear. Remember last year he wore that helmet. And now we get a chance to have a good look at him as umpire Gary Wild puts the ball down again. Big pack around the players. Brad Otten thumps it down. And Daniel takes it across the line.
A bit of a slow start to this third quarter. Not a great deal of desperation shown by both sides as yet, but I'm sure as the quarter continues, we will see some real big efforts by both teams. Number 34 for Central happened to take the boundary umpire out, and that was Steinberger.
Pardon?
He took the boundary umpire out. Took his legs. Steinberger. Is that how we pronounce it?
Steinburner.
Burner.
Steinberger. It sounds like a Big Mac.
It does too. Well, I'll call him Steinberger for the rest of the afternoon. Here we are. Visca turns. This could go anywhere. Typical Visca kick. And it does. It bounces and does a quick little angle to the boundary line.
Visca wearing bandage around his right elbow after a magnificent smother in the second quarter. Stopped a certain Jared Cotton goal and reflective of Glenelg's intention in this game.
Lockwood thumped it down. Holm got it out to Saywell. A long handball to McGowan. Let's see what the finish is like this time. He doesn't miss two in a row too often. Doesn't miss this one either. And McGowan bangs it right through the middle. He only got 11 goals last year. That would have disappointed him. He is an attacking centreman. And today, he finishes that one beautifully.
Again, it's the structure of the Bulldogs. You can see here from the throw-in, McGowan, the centre player, sitting back, a handball and a bit off the play and just receiving the 1-2 and running into the open goal. And it's great to see a player not make the same mistake twice. He missed one only moments earlier from there, but this time he put his head over it, balanced up and put it right through the middle.
So Arnold for Central Districts up against Ottens. Arnold grabs it and kicks it forward. Rouvray goes back on it, throws his weight around. This is the number 4 for Centrals. We had a great first quarter. Lockwood.
No left foot.
Opportunity then to kick his second for the afternoon, but just couldn't kick it.
No left foot, and that's perhaps why he took the extra steps earlier in the first quarter when he was run down from behind, but he has missed 3 goals, so he will have to settle. His enthusiasm, his eagerness to impress, he'll just have to settle and put them more accurately towards goal.
It's hard to imagine these days, Ken. Players coming through, especially young players, they've just had it drilled into them over the last 10 years of their football. They have to be able to kick both left and right foot. And we see a player like him, as you just said, no left side of his body.
Rowett forces Stevens off the ball. Stevens was good enough to get back and recover it. Umpire Michael Avon comes in and indicates he'll have a bounce.
And very few players can get away with not having both sides of the body, both in feet and in hands. This level of football, it is a great level of football, and you just have to be able to deliver.
Their comment, Rob Popplestone down on the boundary line. How's the feeling down there? The atmosphere's still pretty good from up here.
Well, it's still pretty good down here too, Dave, but I can just tell you that the fierceness that Glenelg have been showing is just starting to wane just a touch, and that's opened the door for Central Districts to take advantage of, and they're closing on Glenelg at a rapid rate.
I agree with that, and you can see McGowan, who just has a big engine, a big heart. He will just continue just to do an up and down the middle, and already has presented himself with a couple of opportunities in this quarter. He will be there when the game is really there to be won.
He's been a key player for them over the last 2 or 3 years, hasn't he? There's one little tacker just gone. Not run out the 4 quarters. That
Run out of batteries.
Ottens, who's rucked beautifully today. Cook, who's roved nicely. Around the corner he goes. Good courage required here, and Rouvray was up to the task, wasn't he?
Third time we've seen some magnificent courage from Rouvray running against the flight of the ball.
From the fence. It's kicked up strong. This is Bartlett. Has had many possessions that we heard before, but really everyone he's got, he's made a mark.
Well, that was so clean, wasn't it? So effective, like just clunk, one grab, quick hands to the running player. Just got to channel it through him, I think, more to Glenelg. He looks a lot fitter, he looks a lot streamlined. 11 minutes into this third quarter, and really Central have had most of the play.
That's Thornborough. Gets his hand on the ball. Will be kept in. Just beats the players out over the boundary line.
Gigney at centre-half forward, a good move, Ken.
We'll wait and see.
Picking up a raider. Yeah, only time will tell. I suppose you haven't really seen a lot of him from last year. Only played, just a handful of games.
I think he's more playing on the half-forward flank. A raider, I think, is probably, well, he kicked a fine goal, which bounced through as a free kick played downfield, but they didn't need to pay that as the ball had an off break and went through to his, I think it was his first kick for the game, number 33 for Glenelg, Gigney. But he's certainly tall and gangly, and if he can start to get a bit of the footy, it could be a good move.
Ball's come to ground. Looks like Stevens will show his pace. Who comes through? Great courage shown by the Glenelg player. That's number 22, which is Brooks. He was head down, tail up, and he had eyes for the football. If anybody got in his way, he was going to take him out. He kept the ball in the area, which is what I'm sure those Stringer brothers would like to see. That's the way they played the game.
Chig Whitten, to me, is a player that's got to be back on the ball. He was the one, I think, that was the catalyst for Glenelg in that second quarter.
High ball, Thornborough underneath it. Conway took front position. They have to pay the man in front, surely. Well, what do you reckon?
Certainly from here.
It's your call, Ken.
No, he did. He had it. Clear grab.
Clear grab.
I was wrong. Don't mind admitting it. Thornborough with the higher reach. I thought...
he changed over the summer.
Yeah, I hate being wrong. So Thornborough, who has, just help me out here, Ken, a couple. One goal, he's kicked. Lands right on the line and off Gigney's foot. It's a goal. I think it is. What did he put his foot across the line? The Central fans, players aren't happy. Kevin Chambers comes in and gives the all clear and tells Scotty Lee to stay away. And Scotty Lee is not happy with that. He was right on the line and reckons that the foot was across the line.
Certainly a contentious one, and from this distance it looked like it was, in fact, over the line. But the umpire right beside it, so you can't argue.
We can't tell from here. We've got no idea from here.
But that certainly was a great mark by Thornborough, using his real height and strong hands, which would please Wayne Stringer, the coach of Glenelg, and also Robbie Popplestone, our boundary rider.
Well, back in the middle of the ground again. A free kick's been given. Which way will it go?
That Gigney move is working already, Mark.
Yeah, we don't want to show any footage of that last goal. I reckon it was over.
It was censored. I don't think they wanted to give it to us.
They wanted to show us. So the ball's kicked up high.
And vital in the context of the game.
There it is. They're dead right.
This is Conway. Good strong mark, good saving mark. Opportunity for Glenelg to go forward again. He plays on, Conway. Just backs himself a little bit. The running players out wide. This is a Raider. Under a bit of pressure here. There's three Glenelg players to two Central. It was great work shown from behind. That was Cotton. He ran a good 20 metres to get to the contest. The Raider throws it onto his boot. And he plays. Lockwood's just stopped on the contest. Didn't want to get across to his player. And that was Ottens.
Looks like he's ran out a bit of a gas, does Lockwood. Very energetic early, but...
It's a step up for him, isn't it? Cook went for the outstep kick. Failed miserably. Just talking about Brad Ottens with that mark, Ken. He really has shown something. There's Timmy Cook on screen.
I think it's good for a young player of that age to be running around a kick behind the play as a developing ruckman, a developing key forward, whatever he may become, but he certainly looks to have a real football talent. 5
kicks, 4 handballs and 6 marks. 9 hit-outs to a 17-year-old on debut. Pretty impressive stats midway through the third quarter, and there he is on the ground, number 26. Central fans nervous, they're behind. They don't see this too often, certainly not in the last 3 or 4 years.
It's the application of the Tigers. That how many smothers have we seen today? The 1%ers, the tackles, the chases.
Yep. Ridgway thumps it down. Holm picks it up around the corner. He bends it back. What's he done with it? The Central fans like it behind the goals. The all clear given. And Danny Holm, the 22-year-old from Clarence in Tasmania, gets his first.
That is a great goal. And sometimes it just takes something like that, something special, to really turn a game. Perhaps that can be the catalyst for a Bulldog revival.
His nickname is Danger. Definitely dangerous then around goals.
His dad was a Golden Gloves champion too, Mark, wasn't he? So we've got to be saying nice things about him, or he'll be belting us up.
We're back in the centre of the ground. Glenelg, 8 goals, 9.57. They got onto a 10-point margin over Centrals, who were 7 goals, 5. The ball's put down, the middle of the ground. Ottens. Taken by Arnold over the top. This is pushed out wide. Centrals had the number. They got Stevens, they got McGowan. Stevens around his body. He's normally a left footer. He's brought it back with his right. Again, Glenelg should clean up. That was Burke, gives it wide. The running player in Kretschmer up forward. Hasn't gone to him, but Chigwidden was run down from there. So Lee from behind takes it. He'll mop it up. Just chips it forward, trying to hold possession. He does that. He does it well.
Great poise, wasn't it, by Scott Lee? Great experience. Just settled himself down and put it lace out to his teammate.
Hicks, a long ball. Lewis comes streaming out. Got there 3-on-1 in the contest. Glenelg certainly getting men back. Lockwood ducks. The umpire wisely didn't pay the free kick. To the point of the square goes the kick, but there's no one back there. And young Brad Ottens marks deep in defence. Ships it short. Ben Thompson, best and fairest last year, earned that title too. It was a poor year for Glenelg, but he shone like a star. This is Rowett, back from Victor to Kretschmer. Scotty Lee, body on body, Kretschmer and Scotty Lee. That's a good contest. Daniel flicks it out in the direction of Hicks. Under pressure from Chigwidden, recovers. This way, that way. Round the corner he goes. Arnold gets there, but thumped forward by Bartlett. Gigney cleverly down to Chigwidden. The little man gets through and spears it long towards the square. Will it bounce short? It's running. He's got it. Good option. Chiggy gets it right through the middle, gets his second.
It's a magnificent captain's goal. Really has responded when his team has needed him. And to kick a goal like that from 50 metres on the run, right from the boundary basically, in front of the scoreboard here at Glenelg Oval, is no mean feat.
Great goal by Nick Chigwidden. This extends their lead again. And we're back into the centre again. There's a couple of other games going around town today. There's one out at Nord between Nord and North. Nord still hanging on to a lead. They're 23 points up. Down at Alberton. Port Adelaide Magpies up against Sturt. And Port just hanging on to a 12-point margin at the moment. Sturt are fighting back. Wouldn't that be an upset?
Well, I think it's proven there's not going to be any easy beats this year. South Adelaide, of course, have the bye. We haven't really seen much of their form. But Norwood thrashed North in a trial, and now just an inkling in it.
We see Cook over the football. Can't quite get it out. The umpire comes in and balls it up again.
Now, what do you think of him taken by the Crows? Good move. Cook.
Yeah, Cook, just looking at the top of rover that he is. He had a good season last year with Centrals. Played very, very well in the finals, except for the grand final day, where there wasn't too many players that would, I think you'd say, could really hold their head high, other than possibly young Swert, and my best on ground was Lee. Other than that, but he's a good player, fine player, and a true rover.
And I think as an ability, which I think can improve, it's a good ability that he has, is to kick goals. And I think if he can, highlight that to the Crows selectors, that he has, he can pop up with 3 or 4 goals every now and again, 5 or 6 on occasions. I think that will do his cause good to be selected at AFL level.
Early in his career, Ken, he hardly kicked a goal, and he really remedied that. Last year, I think he was 21 for 20. And by his season the year before, he probably wasn't happy with his goal kicking, but he really found the ball around the ground further back and drove it into their forward line, which was very potent. He didn't have a lot of work to do because they had so many options.
If he could burst out of the blocks here now and put 2 or 3 through for the remainder of the quarter, it'd make a big difference to not only him, but also his side right here and now.
Lost a couple of quality players. Rob Schaefer's gone to Collingwood, Andrew Borkle to Carlton. So they've lost a little bit of their prime mover stock, so to speak. Stewie Dew's developing, Mark Conway's developing, Jared Cotton's developing. Paul Geist is back from North Melbourne, drafted by the Power. I wonder how long Centrals will have him. Chigwidden in front position, Scotty Lee from behind. Just pushed Chiggy under the contest, and then Bartlett was good enough just to force it across the line so that Glenelg could regroup. They're looking pretty good. They lead by, 16 points. And we're late in the third term, and a good crowd. I think it's built, by the way, if you don't mind. I think a few people have been upset about that Port Power scoreboard, and they've meandered down to Glenelg Oval as Raiders on the left boot, floats it high, Wakeler underneath it. Bartlett did well, got a boot to ball. Gigney and Hereda, it's a foot race. The two big men go at it. Fair bit of pace there between the two of them, by the way. Gigney, well done, Hereda. As the kick was dispatched, Hereda just got his man, brought him to ground, and the kick is out of bounds on the full.
The reason that ball is there, that position on the Glenelg forward line, is through the tremendous desperation of Raiders on centre wing.
Ball's kicked back in from behind. It was Otley's. In front was Arnold. Neither player could take it. This is Potter. He gets dragged down from too high. Endor holding the man without the ball. Umpire indicates that one. So we see Potter. onto his right leg. Drives it up towards the wing. That was Lockwood, couldn't quite take it. Visca was strong and tough in there again. Couldn't break the tackle by the big number 33 and Mark Conway.
Potter on the ground at half-time, took up position at half-forward, but has now gone into the middle of the ground at the expense of David Flood, who unfortunately hasn't been able to come back on since the long break.
The big boys go from the tap again. Kretschmer showing great strength. Alongside him was Daniel. Ball's kicked up, a great leap shown over top by Saywell. Comes to ground, Potter again. Should have got rid of it a little bit earlier. The players around him, but the umpires indicated he was pushed in the back just as he kicked it.
Taking the extra steps was Potter, trying to find the lead of the forward, trying to put the ball to space, and was run down from behind, but to his advantage as he was pushed directly in the middle of the back.
Chance here from the Centrals player from behind, and he's come out and taken the mark over the top.
Lures, and he will really need to respond, Mark. Started the game at centre half forward, back to full forward now since half time, and really a player of his experience needs to bob up with 4 or 5 goals in this second half of football for the Bulldogs to take the game.
He's only had 3 possessions for the afternoon, has yet to kick a goal. He goes back, he's dragged it across as a comeback. What's the umpire going to indicate? From here, it's a goal. The umpire indicates it's a goal also. The first one for Simon Lewis for the afternoon, and he brings up Central's 8th.
Potter receiving the free kick, just looking for the full forward. Lewis out in front and really did take a strong mark. Went back, deliberate in his approach, and was equal to the task with 6 points coming onto the board for his side. He's first for the game, but he really will need to rattle them on now in this second half.
We're back in the middle of the ground. Glenelg, 9 goals, 9-63. They hold a 10-point margin over Centrals. Through comes Cheek. That wasn't Cheek Whitten. Looked like Rail. Blonde hair, very similar to the Cheeky. Ball's put to ground again. This is Ridgeway heading for it. Central's got control of it again. Coming through, given back to Stevens. He's collared by 2 Glenelg players, and he's given hold of the ball. Kretschmer's there. He may receive the free kick, but it's not to be Rail.
I was just going to comment on the great ball-winning ability of Jared Cotton there, a loose football, and he was able to win the 50-50 contest to the advantage of Cook. But then the Glenelg players were equal to the task with some tremendous strong tackling.
The Visca, strong mark out in front of home. He's run about 10 metres over his mark. Ball's given back. This is Thompson. He's got players loose and wide. That's Thornborough. He's going to show a bit of pace now in front of Potter. He needs support. He does. Rowett's there. He can set up, goes wide to Kretschmer, and Kretschmer takes it out on the wing.
It's been very good, Rowett. Cross half back for the Bulldogs. Through comes Chig Whitten strong. Surely a free kick not paid, perhaps on the top of the back. Jack Daniels with the football, number 55 for the Bulldogs. Tries to flick it out, but the umpire says we'll ball it up. Into the time on period. Robbie Popplestone. How does it look down there on the boundary line?
Looks very close down here, David. There's no question about that. Don't forget, Central Districts have won 2 of their 3 practice games by less than a goal, so they'll be used to this sort of pressure.
Used to the hard football, and there's one of their hard players, Scott Lee, as he runs the ball over the boundary line, deep in defence for his side. 10 points the difference. Glenelg have been tremendous since quarter time, where they really did rattle on a good second quarter, but the Bulldogs have responded in this third quarter. Through the pack they come. Tremendous play by number 15, Ricky Hall, but inaccurate with his snapshot for goal. Brings up the Tigers 10th behind. 19 shots they have to Central District's 13. Scott Lee signalling that he wants to kick the ball long.
And does so. Right down the centre goes the kick. Alistair Burke thumps away. Harada picks up the loose crumb, goes short. And look at this. Rowett in the midfield.
Good third quarter, hasn't he, David?
Well, their little fellows have really started to get into the game. It's brought their big men right into it as well. Look at this. Chigwin at ground level. He's had a good third term. Handballs it back. Visca, always great courage. Very cool in the crisis. Gigney evades the tackle, feeds off the handball. Lead shooter, cool as a cucumber. Back it goes to Visca, who sets it all up again and brings it back in towards the midfield. They change the direction. This is Thornborough, short, out on the lead. Out he comes. It's Brooks. We haven't seen the best of this man in the last few years. He only played 5 senior games last year.
Formerly from Sturt, come to the Tigers and carried a lot of weight with him, excess body weight. But he really has trimmed down now and is very capable of kicking this long goal.
Well, he's always been a talented player, but injury, I think, has unfortunately not allowed him to train, and his weight's ballooned, and that's affected his form. But he does look fit, does look well, and he kicks from 50 right on the square. It's Gigney, tries to claim the mark, but it's off hands and through for behind. And Scotty Lee saying, why don't you give that one a go, ump?
Long memory have these back pocket players, don't they?
So Scotty Lee to clear the ball. Which way will he go? He goes to the outer side, looks like. He's got plenty of movement if he wants to use one of them. Umpire whistles him on now. He goes in short. He's found his mark. McGowan onto his left, kicks it high into the air. Up forward is Conway, chipping in front of him was Thornborough. Thornborough gets it moving quickly. Butler's out here by himself out on the half-forward flank. It goes that way. Butler's got a chance here to play on. He's got movement up forward. It's like Gigney. Lukey Ottens. He has a good mark out in front. Pretty acute angle. It should be within distance.
It's an important kick for the Tigers, I feel, this, Mark.
So Luke Ottens, around about 40 metres. Lee moves on him, he's kicked it out. Well out on the other side of the ring. So we're looking at a 12-point margin to Glenelg at three-quarter time. A 12-point margin to Glenelg if we start this final quarter. The big fella in Thornborough puts the ball down quickly, trying to find his players. That's Hicks. Gives it off out in front. It's Thompson. Rouvre's just been sensational this afternoon. Rowell also had a great third quarter. And Visca, 3 very good players this afternoon. And we see Thompson clearing it. He's got players up there. Coming back inside, he needs support. That's Hall. He gets it back again as Hall. He's hanging on to being tackled by 3 or 4 Central's players. The umpire feels as though he didn't quite have enough time to get rid of it.
13 shots to 20. Anybody's game, really. The system of Central Districts will have to come to the forefront here. Girdham and Flood,
and Lockwood.
And Bowden Lockwood started the game well. Seemed to have run out of gas a little bit, we called it, in the third quarter. Perhaps that's the reason why he's on the interchange. Interesting to note also that Chig Whitten did start that quarter, the last quarter, in the midfield, in the centre bounce. He was just fantastic in that second quarter onslaught for the Tigers.
Scripps, Ottens and Pearce in the bunker for Glenelg. And look at this. Luke's got it. This is Luke Ottens, the 20-year-old older brother of young Brad, who started the game on the bench but came on early in the second quarter. I'm not sure he'd like the advice he got then.
Got mad eyes. I just love those sort of players. They look at you with mad eyes. Look at him. He's walking back. Totally focused.
Well, he's got to kick this goal. He missed one right at the final siren in the third quarter.
Played 11 goals last year, didn't kick a goal, gets his first for the 97 season. That gets his first for his career, by the way. You'll remember that one. And that's just the buffer that Glenelg needed.
Well, it's a great start. They won it out of the midfield. It's gone straight to their half-forward line, where there's been a neutral contest again, boundary throw-in as it was, and they won that contest again and put it into the full forward line where Ottens was good enough to take the mark, go back and kick the goal.
Back in the centre of the ground, they're just extending their lead now, Glenelg. They're 10 goals, 11-71. Central's 8 goals, 5-53. Ball's put down. Again, Thornborough thumps the ball. They really have dominated out of the centre this afternoon as this Glenelg side. That's where they've won the game, through the midfield. Commentators this afternoon have been DB Mackay, David Mackay, Mark Nayley and Ken Sheldon. And don't forget our mate Rob Poppy Stone on the boundary, giving us throughout season 997 what's happening down at ground level.
He's always been a bit of a weasel, sniffing out the information. And now he gets to do it professionally and get paid for it. Chigwinnon comes up with the ball. Umpire Wild takes it off him. 71 plays 53. We're just minutes into the final term. Centrals have got time enough to get back in this match, but Glenelg are playing a brand of football that we haven't seen probably for 3 or 4 years at Brighton Road. the new coach Wayne Stringer. He's made a few enemies over the summer, but the way side's playing, they're certainly playing with a little bit more fire in the belly. They've turned over enormous numbers of players, and I suspect maybe he's turned over the right ones.
Well, their half-back line's been tremendous. Rouvray, Visca, Rowett. Their midfield, particularly in the second quarter, Chigwitten, Bird, Tudor, Thornborough and Bradley Ottens have been good in ruck. And at centre-half forward, you've had Bartlett with 3 first-half goals.
Raiders got it from Chigwitten, touches at the ground. He's inside 50, he can go for goals. He does. Spears it long and low towards the goals, but it's offline. 1 point the result there. And a real opportunity to finish the game off. You just suspected a goal there might have just taken the wind out of the Glenelg sails.
Well, in the opening 3 or 4 minutes of this quarter, it just hasn't been over the centre line for the Bulldogs.
The 19-point mark is now. Bartlett from behind thumps the ball towards the boundary line. He wants to keep it in his area. To me, Ken, he really has one in position also. Hasn't had many touches. Look at him, there's 7 kicks and 1 handball. That's all he's had so far today. It's really, I mean, he kicked 3 goals. He has been dangerous.
Clean and precise and effective, as you said, and also opening up space for his smaller, more fleet-footed half-forwards.
Ottens comes out hard, his eyes on the footy. Good work done by the central side. Ball's thrown in the area. They really are putting a lot of pressure on this Glenelg side. They're trying and working very hard to keep the ball in the area, and it's paid off. They get a free kick inside of 50.
And clearly the right decision there by the umpire. Desperation to try and defend, but Adrian Rowett will receive that free kick. Brenton Daniel, the culprit, I guess, there.
Sorry, no, I've led you astray there. Matty Jones.
Matty Jones, the new boy from Clarence in Tasmania, formerly coached by his current coach, Stevie Wright.
Adrian Rowett, just inside the 50, throws it on its way. Has he got the length? I don't think he has. Players up and just gets pushed through off the fingertips. But the Glenelg are really taking total charge of this game, haven't they?
They have, but you just get the feeling that they need to put one through the middle. They've had enough opportunity to have the game wrapped up in the last 10 minutes, if you include the last 5 minutes of the third quarter.
A couple of updates from around the ground. Norwood by 21 points over North in the final stages of that match. And Port by 32 points. You'd suggest that they'll hang on against the Double Blues. It was 12 points just after half-time and closing. So, and the Eagles by 17 points. Now that must be what, quarter time. That game started late at quarter time over West Adelaide. The game started at 3:20 today, and there was a beast of football at West Adelaide, an innovation by the West Adelaide Football Club and the Eagles. They played their under-17s, 19s and reserves all on the one day. I'm sure they would have enjoyed a good crowd there. Arnold palms it down to Holm, back to Cook on the left boot. Brooks went 3/4 of that one. Now it doesn't sit for him. Ridgway back to Rouvray. Which way? Visca and Rowett. Well, now they've just slowed right up, Glenelg. They've just got no urgency. This is a dangerous sign. This is what they did last year, and they really paid dearly for it. Arnold, chest mark.
I was just going to comment also on the lack of desperation shown by Conway, number 33. They're playing now at centre-half forward. Really didn't chase hard out of the forward line. Wouldn't please his coach, Steve Wright.
That's Gigney. Scripps comes on. Going off was Rowett. Potter. A high ball through half forward. McGowan's underneath it. Ridgway there with him. And Simon Nicholas thumps it towards the line. He's quite content to see it go across there.
Now the Bulldogs have restructured up a bit since three-quarter time. They have Lewis at full forward. He's been there since half-time. And Big Conway has gone to centre-half forward. Harada has resumed at centre-half back. And Arnold, of course, is in the ruck.
Down the bottom of the pack there is Kretschmer. I just have a sense at the moment that this central side has just been intimidated a little bit by Glenelg. Glenelg are hitting in harder. They've got eyes only for the football. They really are unsettling the central side. We saw it last year's grand final. Port came out. They had one thing in mind, was to get hold of the footy at all costs. And just today, I've just sensed Glenelg, which we haven't seen for a couple of seasons, have eyes only for the football. We see a quick break through the pack. This is number 34, Nathan Steinberger or Burner, whichever way you want to pronounce it. He's brought up another goal for the central side. That brings up their ninth. They still trail Glenelg.
He showed a bit there, Ken. Real pace then.
Yeah, real pace. But what a great punch to space by Saywell. It bounced, it must play to advantage. Great ability in the close touches by Jared Cotton to be able to put that ball to advantage, and it was a really good goal for the Bulldogs.
And down on the boundary line, Rob Popplestone, what do you got for us, Poppy?
Well, all the Central Districts working their way closer. Central Districts renowned for giving 100% of the time. They're doing that today. Glenelg need to keep the pressure on if they're going to go home with 2 points.
Well, first game of commentary, Rob. Put yourself on the line. Will Centrals get up?
Centrals could get up, but at this stage you'd have to put your money on Glenelg, who are actually kicking home with a slight breeze.
All right, fair enough, Rob. We'll see if you're a fair enough judge. Thompson over the top, holds the ball in the area. Potter not happy with Kretschmer coming in late.
It was Poppy the one that said I was the fence sitter, or was it you that said I was the fence? Listen to that comment then. He wasn't going each way. He had a foot in every camp, didn't he? Don't ever go at me again, Poppy.
I think we both had a share of that one, Mark.
See the ball bounced. Centrals again are going forward. Ball's kicked up high. A little bit of hanging on behind there. That was Lewis. Just grabbed his teammate, not his teammate, but his opposition, and Brooks. Just nuts. So Brooks will take the kick from fullback. There's another point was scored by the Central side.
Simon Nicholas, number 7 for Glenelg, hasn't been high in possession, but he's been effective as a key defender.
Dower. Thornborough over the top of it. Kretschmer couldn't quite gather it in. Cook does beautifully. Evades the tackle, chips it in short. Saywell. Is he running out of legs? No, he looks all right. Runs around Brooks, shortens it up, and there it is. McGowan on the short lead, used his brain.
That is class.
Not bad, was it?
Tremendous composure, ability to know what's going on around him. Could have easily had a ping.
First instinct was to have a ping, and then he realised it wasn't the right job.
Unselfish football, and that's what's going to win them this game this afternoon. But they are going to get up. Play like that will win them games.
McGowan has 1 goal, 1. The B&F won everything in sight last year. Oh, he stabbed at it too, and he's hit the post. Well, that can take the wind out of your sail as well.
It was very tentative, and unfortunately paid the price, did Ricky McGowan.
It's normally, Ken, a beautiful kick.
You put your money on him there, but the Bulldogs have the chance to make that a 7-pointed game now if they can win this kick out. Unsuccessful they are though, and Glenelg now will go into attack.
This fella's been pretty good, Mark.
Yeah, Thompson. Slightly built lad, but he does put himself in pretty hard. This is Roubaix. He's been my best on ground so far this afternoon. The game is not over, but he really has been sensational at centre half back this afternoon. We see Raider gets time to clear it. He does, pushes it out wider. This is Cotton. Pick it up. What will he do? He's got no players forward. McGowan works for him. Gets into the front position. Well done, McGowan. He gets it moving quickly. They've got to move the ball quickly. It's what they're trying to do, which is great to see. This is Lewis over the top. He's got assistance in there. The Nell players are working just as hard to bottle it up, and they do that beautifully.
Brooks was very good. Great desperation, Brooks.
They've had good pace all day, have the Tigers, and they've had tremendous desperation. There's been a lot of smothers, there's been a lot of tackles and bumps and work off the ball, and I think that's been significant on their scoreline.
Just short of 10 minutes into the final term. Glenelg by 12 points. There's Kretschmer, who's been solid today. 9 kicks, 6 handballs, a couple of marks for him. Never puts in a bad game. And don't forget, we're live throughout South Australia and the Northern Territory on ABC Footy.
Again, Centrals go forward. They're only 2 kicks out of it. A goal here would be very, very handy. They've got to hold it in the area, which they're trying to do. This is Wakeland. Diving desperately. Glenelg want to hold in. Comes back to McGowan. He chips it forward again. As he brought it back far enough behind the crowd, the Centrals crowd have gone mad. He's kicked his second. And Centrals are not out of this game yet.
Ricky McGowan, we talk about it so often, the big heart that he has, the diesel engine that he has, it just keeps ticking over. And there he is, just presenting himself there again. Like, he was there reading, just making the wall, not to enable the Tigers to get out of their defence very easily, and he was just able to butter up, clean it up and put it through for a fine goal.
Let's see what sort of character Glenelg have built in their hard pre-season. Can they hold on to a slender 1-goal lead? Last year's grand finalists are fighting back as Alistair Burke goes forward. Well done, Brenton Daniel. Flicks it out wide to Scotty Lee. He'll just explode out of the back line, build it up and push it forward. No one to kick to, so he just grubbers one low. Thornborough picks it up. Scotty would be disappointed with that effort. A long ball back. Brad Otten's high fly. Couldn't bring it down. Geister seems to be running out of a bit of legs, Big Paul.
Well, every player out there will be finding it very, very hard now. The first real hit out for the season. in what has been excellent conditions, and it's been a crackerjack game.
It has been. Great opener for 97.
Arnold works hard to hold front position. He's got lead this time. What will he do? He gets a handball over the top. This is the running player in Steinberger or Burner. He puts it up again. McGowan's been manhandled. The umpire 40 metres away, didn't see it as the ball goes out over the boundary line.
A real nail-biter here. Now, you call him Berger and we'll call him Burner, and then nobody will get confused.
Good.
And this is where the Central District Bulldogs are very, very good. These set plays, they set themselves, their structure is terrific. If they can pluck a goal out of this one, we'll bring the crowd to their feet.
On the 15-metre line. That's Rowland in there.
Pierce.
Is it? Or is it Pierce? Young Pierce, 16-year-old Pierce. Spent a bit of time on the bench.
All-Australian under 17er. Comes up from the southeast. They produce, there must be something in what they grow down there.
Started very, very well, had a spell on the interchange, as Mark said, and has come back now to finish off his day.
He gets the knock, pushes it towards the boundary line. These players couldn't get there soon enough. Look at the kids here today. It really has been a family atmosphere here today at Glenelg Oval. It has been a good standard of football.
You can go out, you can hear the coaches at three-quarter time, and I must say that a lot of people have gone onto the Oval, heard the quarter-time and three-quarter time addresses. They've brought their kids down, and I just don't think you can do that at an AFL game anymore.
So Rouvray punches the ball forward. Chigwidden should have taken it, couldn't quite get there, and the ball's punched over the boundary line by Hicks.
It's good work by Glenelg. They forced the ball from half-back around to the wing.
Damien Hicks' mum, Trish, on the right, watching her eldest son.
So again, they're just holding it up, they are. They're keeping it in the area, Centrals. It hasn't gone past the wing so far in the last minute or so of football.
This is great footy here in my book. Both teams are totally committed. Someone has to break out of the blocks to win this game.
There just could be one mistake that cost their team the game, and that would be tragedy as Kretschmer gets a kick forward of sorts. Well done, Hall, off to Chigwidden. Hasn't his work rating lifted since half-time? Spears it in long and low. Over the top of it was Ottens. It's Brad Ottens. Bartlett works hard. It was a bit like just forcing the pack wide. Sorry, Mark, you picked up some...
I saw Visca come back on. I couldn't quite pick up who went off down there. But Visca is back. Has he got a bandage on his elbow?
Sharpened it, I reckon. Now Saywell gets through, gets the handball out to Stevens, forces one wide to Scotty Lee, comes back inboard, did pretty well, the old fella. A long one through half forward, and Wakeland, who really hasn't been himself today, has been used as a defender. Now they're playing at centre half forward, and I think they're nullifying the effect of Thompson. That's not a bad move. Over the top goes the short kick. Steinberger, who has been very impressive since half-time, pushes it long and low. Lumbering out was Lewis, couldn't quite get there. Simon Nicholas fights hard for the ball, holds it in the air, and that's probably a good result.
Well, that's what they want. We're 20 minutes almost, 15 minutes almost into this last quarter. That's exactly what they need. They need to tie it up and then release with a few forward entries. So it's good play by the Tigers.
Some solid work done there by Damien Holm. He just ran straight at Chigwidden. Made sure he wasn't going to get up. Blood roll to Chigwidden.
It's unfortunate that the captain at a crucial time, only one goal in the game.
The crowd's nice and vocal too.
Nick Chigwidden, wasn't he fantastic in the second quarter, which seen Glenelg go to a 23-point lead. They have been, I think, dominant in the time zones. They've outscored Central. They've beaten them at the centre bounce and throw-ins. Their system in the kick-outs has been better. Their pace has been good, and yet there's one goal in it. You can never count the Bulldogs out. Their system, their structure is tremendous.
They'll always fight around the grounds as we go. First update is Norwood North. Norwood by 46 points late in the game there. Looks like they'll win that one. Port by 21 points over Sturt as Glenelg go forward. And the other match, the Eagles are leading West Adelaide by 34 points. They're extending their quarter-time lead. Remember that game started at 3:20 and we're probably just before half-time about now. Arnold, off hands, forces it wide. Alistair Burke, hardest man in the club last year in tackles and smothers, bends it back around, but not far enough, just gets a point. They needed a goal, they got a point.
He needed to put that to the front and square of the goals, did Burke, and he's had a ping from too far a distance. trying to get the extra distance, the ball has just gone off the side. Very much like a golf shot, so him and his teammates are very disappointed.
Might get you soon, Ken, just to talk to us about the recruits for both sides and how you reckon they're fared today. So we'll cover that as Mark Noley takes us through the next segment.
I don't think Wayne String would complain about them going through a point. That extends their lead to 7 points. They've got to kick 2 scores to Centrals. The ball's put high. The back is up and he flies high over the pack. Couldn't take it. And Centrals will clear. One bounce away. He's got Stevens in short. Didn't use him. He should have. Plenty of strong body work by Bisker on the centre wing. It was home with him. See Tudor coming off. Just looked like he's getting a little bit leg weary. And Gigney comes back on. Get a bit of height up that forward line. Again, the ball's been thrown around by the Glenelg players. Gigney will get his touches coming straight back on. He couldn't quite get there quickly enough. And Potter comes in over the top, making sure the ball's not knocked out.
Very raw, isn't he, Gigney, developing youngster like a young colt.
A little bit gangly as the ball gets put down. Like Thornborough, he has been good today. Saywell had a great opening first quarter, has been quiet since then. Bisker really takes it. This is home, under plenty of pressure. Number 34 is Stein. Burner throws it forward. Harada got the running players there. Can they get it across? Home again. Knocks the ball up towards centre half forward. Who's he got coming out? Ball's put down. Conway's there. Cook's there. Bisker again. It's just solid in defence. And the umpire's called holding the ball.
Well, he tried to crash through, said the umpire, and Marcus is not happy with that decision at all. He gathers it in. Did he get time to get rid of it before he was wrapped up? The umpire said it was his responsibility when he went to ground to get rid of it.
25 metres to boot.
Well, I might highlight that it is consistent. There was a free kick paid at half-back in the third quarter, which was very much of a similar vein. So the umpires, may they be right or they're wrong, they are consistent today.
One thing Wayne Stringer won't cop is that, OK, the decision's done. I've never seen an umpire reverse it. And Bisker wants to go on with it. You're never going to win that. And I'm sure that they'll be talking about that late after the match. Cook puts it through, and look at this. It's a 1-point ball game. Centrals are coming back.
Chig Whitten still off the ground too with the blood rule. Ready to come back on. Very much needed. We'll go straight into the centre bounce, I'd imagine. No, he's going to the forward pocket. We really do need something. Now the Tigers, they've been on top all day, but the Bulldogs have responded. Dubious decision here, but there's no doubt when you look at it, he's caught out, gang tackled, and then disappointingly, a 50-metre penalty give Cook no option but to score full points. Could not miss.
Back in the centre, Glenelg 10 goals, 14. They lead by 1 point over Central, 11 goals, 7. It's going to be a fantastic closing minutes at the Glenelg Oval. Raiders throws it on his boot forward. The ball's taken out of the wing. He wants to play on. Couldn't quite get away, was Matty Jones. Jones goes down the line. Head in front's Conway. Couldn't quite. Lee's come from back pocket again. What can he do with it? We just need a score. He centres the ball. At the back is Bartlett. Was it Thornborough? It was Thornborough. Again, Thompson's in there. Throws the ball out. Players are desperate. They're diving over the football. Bisker kicks it forward. Bisker from centre half back. Ball's taken by Daniel, gives it across the Raider. Central to make a charge again. This is Wakeland. What can he do? He centres it up a bit. Nearly smothered by Bartlett. Ball's kicked forward and Bisker again. What a game by Mark Bisker.
Has been tremendous, Bisker. He's been smothering, he's been tackling, he's been chasing, he's been dogged. And he's been there when it's counted, as has that man there, Paul Rouvray, who pushed the ball over the boundary for another throw-in late in this final quarter, with only 1 point the difference here in the opening round of SANFL football. Throw-in Thornborough, uncontested, takes the football, but not good enough to execute it properly, and it's just tied up in there, and another ball up will take place.
Umpire Kevin Chambers puts the ball great down. Arnold Thornborough wins it. Loose ball falls. Is it a free? The crowd called for it. Yes, it is. And Potter's been reported for a deliberate trip. Kevin Chambers has reported Craig Potter for a deliberate trip. Now that is the rule. No worries he's going to get a game over that. It's a rule that was introduced last year. Deliberate chip, well, was it?
I think he's going for the ball, Dave. He just seemed to put his leg out and try to sucker the ball
to get balance.
The leg. So what do you say? Is it deliberate?
Well, if the judiciary rules it was deliberate, he'll get a week. And if they don't, if they reckon he was just getting his balance, well, you be the judge.
And that man, Visca, was there again. He's played a sensational last quarter as Mark Visca.
Ricky Hall's feeling the effects. Kevin Chambers. In terms of the rules of the game, he's quite right, the umpire, by the way. And a 50-metre penalty, which is the rule also. So you get a free kick and a 50-metre penalty, and Kevin Chambers is right on the job. So Ricky Hall from 48 metres, a chance to make a hero of himself. Can he put it through? We're well into time on. The kick goes right out to the right. A big grab required here by somebody. Up it is. It's a mark. It's Brad Ottens. He claims it and he's paid it. What a debut for the 17-year-old. If he kicks this through, I think they can hold on. And the Bulldogs have thrown everything at them.
What a mark. 15 players in that pack, and Bradley Ottens, the biggest player out there this afternoon, has just put his arms up and taken a sensational grab.
You dream of doing this in the backyard. He's kicked 2 behinds. A goal here gives him a 7-point buffer. Runs around, uses the check side, and what's he done? I think he's kicked it. There was no one in the square. There was no one there, and he's got it. The big fella's got it. What a dream debut. And Glenelg lead by 7 points.
That is unbelievable. I've never seen that in my entire football career, watching that type of thing. How can a man have a shot from 25 metres or perhaps even only 15 metres out and there be no one in the goal square? No one in the goal square from the opposition defence. And the ball goes through chest height for a goal.
Well, that could be the match-winning mark and goal by the big fella in Ottens. We see the ball bounce. They go to 7-point lead as Glenelg. They're still in it. The game is not over. Ball's kicked forward. Will it be taken there by number 4? It's the big fella in Lockwood, who's been a little bit quiet since that opening quarter. And down on the boundary, Poppy. Who's going to win the game now?
Well, I think it's Glenelg. We're 3 minutes into time on, and that one's the sealer. It wasn't a great kick, but it doesn't matter. It just has to go through the big ones, and it did. So Glenelg fans will be very happy with a very good performance today. 7 points up with only seconds to go.
And Rob, I'm keen to know what was the bunker reaction when that goal went through from Central District?
When the goal went through for Glenelg.
Yep.
That was a great goal, wasn't it? Just to quickly update on Potter, he's gone too. That was definitely a trip there, and you can, if you're a Centrals fan, you can be assured you'll be without Potter for the next 2 weeks.
There can only be seconds left in this game here at Glenelg Oval. It has really been a fantastic opening to the SANFL season. Last year's grand final, Central Districts. It's not over yet, David.
Long way.
This could be the upset of the afternoon.
Got a long way to go. Thornborough marks. They called him for soft hands at quarter time. He's responded in the best possible fashion. That is a telling mark late in the game. Conway couldn't get there to spoil, and Potter was caught under the ball. As Thornborough, the recruit back from Richmond and St Kilda, goes towards Ottens, and there's a free kick being picked out. That's going the way of Central Districts. So it's Hicks to take the kick. He'll need to play on quickly. 26.5 minutes. We'll probably go to about 28 minutes in this final term. Cleverly done with Scripps and across the line. He just buys a little bit of time.
And Glenelg really are winning the clinches here. They really are running it right up to Central District, who are more supposedly a more physical side than the Bays, but they really are cleaning them up in all aspects of the game.
Again, it looks like Raiders. The cross. Glenelg go forward again. That player, Ottens in the full forward, couldn't quite get his hands to it with the bounce. And again, we see the ball punched out over the boundary line.
Well, it might be a tiger for me and a tiger for you on the loudspeaker at the end of this match. We haven't heard it here for a while. They had a pretty dismal record at home last year.
Again, the boundary umpire throws it in. Great body work shown by Arnold and also Walton. Central will run it out. We've got the players. Even most of them are running up and down on the spot at the moment. It has been a very tiresome game. Inside. He takes a bounce. That's the other brother, Lucas Ottens. Puts it forward to his brother. Where is he? He's sitting behind. He takes it. What can he do with it? He is tired. He's worked hard this afternoon. Out to Lee. Lee, all he needs to do is pick it up. He's got no players running forward at all. Conway is up about 60 or 70 metres forward of him. He won't go that far. Brings it inside. 34 of Stein Burner. Over the top here. Scripps. Takes it, goes out wider. What will happen here? It's Hall. Straightens his body up. Brings it back inside. Bartlett couldn't quite get there. Used his body beautifully. Centrals are bottling it up, trying to hold in. They've got to get it forward quickly. This is it. It's got to be moved. It doesn't. And again, Glenelg take a sag mark in the middle. Gives it back quickly to Raiders. Raiders puts the ball high. Otten's there. Uses his stretch. Uses his arms to get up there. Geister from behind.
That's a free.
There's a free kick.
Bartlett.
So Bartlett just taken a little bit too high by Geister. So Bartlett only about 15, 20 metres out, a very acute angle, will make the distance. Just needs to be able to kick it straight, and the game will be all over for Central Districts.
Actually, if he kicks the goal, we might ask Ken Shelton just to do a analysis of the recruits before the final siren.
So Bartlett comes in, very disciplined with his run. He's happy with the kick. So is the goal umpire, and so is his teammates. So Ken, just a quick little summary on the today's performance by the recruits.
Well, certainly the best recruit I feel has been, well, there's two of them. They're equally best on ground in my opinion. You'd have to toss a coin. Paul Rouvray and Wayne Thornborough, both for Glenelg. I think young Bradley Ottrings has been special for a 17-year-old, as has young Pearce, and Tudor has been pretty special also in the first half. Holm for Central District kicked a real good goal, and Stein Burner, as we'll call him, has shown some good pace, as has Lockwood.
Stein Burner has burnt 13 points the margin in favour of Glenelg. 29 and a half minutes in, no time less for the Bulldogs now. Glenelg will win this match as a Raider goes after it again. Scripps pushes it back, picks up a free kick. The crowd was calling for play on, but Scripps will take the free kick from half forward. Brad Ottens comes streaming out. They push it in the big man's direction. Look at this, he's got it. What an athlete. Star of the future, no doubt about it. Raw bone, plenty of courage and great hands, and a very good leap.
And I think it's worth pointing out that this kid started at full forward, repeating what we said earlier, but for those that have just come into viewing, started at full forward, was starved of opportunity. Coach Wayne Stringer shifted him onto the ball. He got a few touches. He got knocked about a bit. He found his feet, and then he really has come into his own. And you've seen just then, with that tremendous athleticism and strong hands, what a talented player he is.
These Ottens boys, I'm sure, would make their dad Dean very proud. Dean, a former South Australian state player. Spent some time in the Northern Territory, and that kick just across to the right, to the left, and 1 point. So 1 goal 3 for the big man. He's returned for the afternoon. We're almost 31 minutes into the final term. Glenelg will win this match.
Well, David, every year we see a young player come onto the scene and really grab it and take his opportunity. Last year it was Warren Treadray. Could have possibly been Ottens this year. We see the game is just quieting down a little bit. I think Central's realised the game is just out of their reach now. They're 13 points down. It really has been a great battle. They had their chances, the Central District side, midway through that last quarter. See again, Chiggy's working hard, and we hear the final siren here. The full score, it's Glenelg, 12 goals, 15, 87. The Central's 11 goals, 7, 73.